Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11.
You are watching Home Track Heroes here on CW11 from Evergreen Speedway. My name is Kyler Hope, and this is Caleb Hart joining me, and we got a wet one tonight. It's less than ideal conditions, but, I mean, we're one of the few tracks in the nation that has, hey, we're going to race no matter what, and it's going to be exciting.
Theme of the night is going to be wet weather. It is going to make things all kinds of hairy out there. The driver's not used to running in the wet stuff, so make adjustments to your vehicle, car, truck, whatever the heck it is that you're racing. Maybe if you've got the rain tires in that class, throw them on and go to town. You're going to put the driver in the machine tonight, and we're going to see some fun stuff. I can guarantee you, because there's nothing quite like racing in the rain. And like you said, we're one of the few places that does it here at Evergreen Speedway. Yeah,
so it's Busch Light night at the races here, and we got 5 great classes. Sadly, the Pro Late models, they're scratched from the night because they're the one class we will not run in the rain. But we got the Pro 4 trucks, the mini stocks, the legends, and a couple figure 8 classes as well. As we're going to take a look at some heat race action. It was wet early, and here's Matt Green, and Matt's been away from the Pro 4 trucks for a while, but I mean he came back in style at least right here.
Beautiful 360 spin, exactly. And he keeps her on going. And this is just a hint of some of what you're going to see, as those trucks are hard to handle. There's Zach Bristol, who says he's a pretty good rain racer. Well.
He's just testing the limits in the heat race, right?
Is that what it is? He needed to get the Chad Little-looking car out into the green grass to make sure that it blended in and he got his colors right.
Exactly, yeah. In this shot right here, you can really see how hard it's raining. You see those front tires spinning as he's trying to get it back out onto the track. As they actually stayed green throughout this whole little sequence for him right here. You see those windshield wipers going hard as well. As it was a very damp night at Evergreen Speedway. And then here we got the speed shot. You see the rain coming, and Kurt Boyle's going to join you in your living room for a second as well.
Ooh, just kisses the front wall all gently. Let's get a different look at some things. Boyle left. Ooh, Kyle Lang right, and the Uke tire takes it on early in Home Track Heroes this week.
Yeah, so the Lang crew, definitely a lot of work to do to get that car back out for the main event. Same with Kurt Boyle. As you see the right front tire, it's got a little bit of suspension damage as it's bent in right there. So it's less than ideal when you go out into a heat race and then you tear up your equipment. But sometimes the rain isn't always your friend. And just ask Angel Cervantes. You know, the wet weather conditions is not very nice.
Yeah, but see, that was a beautiful save by Angel. Then he gets it back up and going, and then it's not a beautiful save.
Yeah, see, and legend cars are hard enough to race.
They are.
On dry tracks. We're going to make it very, very wet conditions here. And Lyndon Smith here in the mini stocks, he was battling Jason Wilson early in his heat race and just carried a little too much momentum down into turn number 1. And that might be a little common theme we see is people going in too hot. We saw Zach Bristol, now Lyndon Smith. It's just it's tough.
Oh, and let's go back to the trucks. This is Steve here, and Steve. That hurt.
Yep. Yeah, that's really what you do not want to do. I don't think he's going to be able to get that truck back together for the main event, which is rolling out right now. So we're going to skip ahead in the night now and go on to the first main event, the Pro 4 trucks, their season opener. And I don't think that this is the way that they want to bring out all their new equipment, is in a nice damp and wet racetrack.
No, it is not. However, you got to race the situation that you're given. Everybody's got the same track to run on. Everybody's got the same wet to deal with. And let's take a look at the field.
Exactly. So starting on the front row is last year's Northwest Pro 4 Truck Series champion. That is Christopher Wisman in the 98, and his outside is a 6 of Aaron Green.
Shane Green, one of 3 different greens in this main event, starts inside row number 2. Next to him, Haley Wilkinson, the 35 truck, sponsored by Tony V's Garage.
And like we mentioned, Matt Green making his return back to the series after a few years' absence from it. He's starting inside of row number 3 in the 7 truck, and his outside, starting 6, is the 9 of Greg Vaughn, sponsored by Hattrick Northwest.
The 4th row, trucks that park right next to each other. Brooklyn Bender, the J2, 18C is the J2 sponsored truck, 18C is the number. Next to Brooklyn, McKenna Cox is number 24, Cox Wheels Racing, the sponsor on it.
And then the rookie Riley Riddell, sponsored by DL Enterprises, will be in the 20 truck, as we've seen plenty of Riley this year in the Youth Hornets, as he's been dominant. So we'll see if he'll be able to keep his winning ways here at Evergreen Speedway. And his outside is a 27 of Doug Wilkinson, sponsored by Tony V's Garage.
The Wiley Coyote, Mike Wiley, starts. Tail end Charlie on the field. RC Concrete, Stamped Concrete, his sponsor, as we will turn the lights out and get ready to set them loose.
Yeah, we got a great field of trucks here. I mean, I love watching this class, and it's a ton of fun whenever they come to town. They travel all around the Northwest, ton of different tracks, but I love seeing them here at Evergreen Speedway on the 3/8 mile, and it's a wet 3/8 mile as they get ready to take the green flag coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot about track conditions here tonight during the program. Right now, I mean, it's wet, but you don't see a whole lot of puddles actually on the racetrack, although you'll be able to see some of the spray coming off the tires as, Well, Aaron Green, that's suboptimal at best.
Yeah, that's a less than ideal start. As we got a few more trucks that are going to go off track. It's Riley Riddell in the 20 truck trying not to get stuck in the grass. And then McKenna Cox and Doug Wilkinson are saying hi to each other as well. It doesn't look like too much damage for anyone. Everyone's going to be able to roll away. Riley Riddell might need a little bit of a push. But let's take a look at what happened again there. We'll take a couple replays. Riley's going to reverse it out of there. That's a tricky area to get in and out of, but he's handling it well. So we'll do a full restart. Take a look at the replay right here, as it was Aaron Green in the 6 trying to run that outside line and carry the momentum around, and a little bit slippery early, and McKenna Cox locks it up. Riley Riddell takes evasive action, and just a little kiss from Doug Wilkinson right there.
Yeah, there's example 1 of what not to do. Example 1 of what could be many here on the night on Home Track Heroes is Green, and you can see he's counter steering. He's trying to save her and just couldn't quite get her to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And when we saw the street stocks, when they raced in the wet conditions in years past, and especially a few weeks ago, is that outside line is where drivers will tend to want to go, because the rain will drip down to the bottom, kind of puddle up on the bottom. The lower grooves may not have as much grip, and you can kind of carry your momentum and run the longer line on the outside. So maybe it's what Aaron was trying to do, but was over-tested the limits just a little bit. So we'll see if this restart's any better. We still have 30 laps to go for their main event.
Yeah, nice execution, Aaron. You're doing great.
So nothing too torn up yet. So that's a good start. We got plenty of potential with this wet track conditions, and I mean, these guys they're fun to watch. But also, I mean, it's their first race of the year too, so they've been itching all off season. So combine that with the wet track conditions, it's going to be one fun main event as we try this restart again. Green flag back out in the air for Wisman and Aaron Green as they head back down into turn number 1.
All right, Wisman down low, Green in the white with, I'm going to say it's red or orange, one or the other, trim on the outside of him, and he gets a good run on the outside. That's what we're talking about. Outside a little bit drier. You're going to be able to keep your foot in it a little bit longer, and so far, trying to use it to his advantage as we got a good side-by-side race for the lead off of turn 4.
Yeah, you really got to have good throttle control in these wet weather conditions and really feel for your truck, as they're really carrying a lot of momentum around this 3/8 mile up on the top banking, and like you said, he's able to carry that momentum up on the outside and have a good run down the back straightaway. But Wisman is very impressive down on that low side.
Something to monitor as our scoring loop kicks in and we start getting it up and going. One thing that we had heard early in the night is that Green does have his transponder mounted on the wrong spot on the truck. Green's transponder is actually mounted towards the front of the truck, where Wisman's is mounted towards the back. Now, these guys had a heck of a heat race, which we didn't get a chance to show you, that Wisman actually won, but we had to do it on a visual call to give it to Wisman because of the transponder mounting location. So the ticker, it might be right, it might not, but you'll be able to watch it for your own and see. I mean, you can see as it comes across, Wisman might have actually been a nose ahead, but right now the transponder's reading Green because he's got it mounted further up on the race truck.
Yeah, you see all these trucks have different kind of body styles and no really set body template for these trucks, which makes the class so unique. But that also means you're going to have some different kind of chassis out there, a lot of variation in the trucks themselves. So that's when you get some, like a spot to mount the transponder might end up being a little bit different, like you're mentioning. So that's where that comes in. But overall, when it comes to what matters, like you said, in the heat race, visually, we'll have the flagger and race control all keeping a keen eye on who actually is leading the race when it comes to when it matters. As this side-by-side battle is continuing to go on for now 4 laps, and neither of them can really get away from each other. They're staying door to door all the way around the track.
I would say evenly matched, absolutely, between Wisman there on the bottom and Green up on the top, with a couple more Greens trying to come into the picture at the same time. So Wisman with Greens chasing them all over the place.
Yeah, it's just a flock of Greens as yellow flag is going to come out for the rookie Riley Riddell. He's not facing he's facing the right way, but I feel like he might not have been the entire time from the angle of that truck. Let's get a replay of it.
Through the miracle of technology, we will see what Riddell ends up doing. Ooh, nice save, youngster.
Ooh, that got a little close for McKenna Cox as he came back up the track, and she was able to take her 24 truck and get up and avoid the wall and avoid him. So that was almost really bad for everyone involved, but thankfully everyone's able to keep it rolling the right way right now as we get set for a restart with 23 laps to go.
All right, well, evenly matched in the first 7. 23 remain, Wisman and Aaron Green. Then it is Shane Green in the 8. That's the blue and black truck on the outside. The green and black truck is Matt Green. Wisman's just surrounded by green.
A lot of green, including some green grass, which hopefully that 98 truck can avoid. We've already seen quite a few vehicles make their way into that as we get ready for the restarts. Doug Wilkinson's going to try to take it 3 wide going down in turn number 1.
You said vehicles. That's a good, neutral term.
Yeah, because we don't want to be calling trucks cars or cars trucks or messing things up. Because I think I heard we have to put $1 in the jar if we do that.
I believe so. It's going to be a big fine. Let's try to avoid it. Look at Wilkinson making it 3 wide truck style here. Matt Green kind of caught up in the middle of that as McKenna Cox going way to the top shelf. 3 wide in the Pro 4 trucks, the side-by-side battle for the lead at the same time. That's getting good.
Yeah, 3 wide, Doug Wilkinson, and he's making his return back to the truck series. He's been a while since he's out. That's actually Kimmy's car, or truck, my bad. There's $1 in the jar right there. As we mentioned it, we're doing so good. And Doug decided to jump in it for the main event, and he started the back, and he's working his way forward, battling hard on the inside, trying to crack the top 4 right now.
Looking good, picking off one of the greens and trying to work on the next one as we get another look going into turn number 1. Of Wisman and Aaron Green. Those two, again, just staying so evenly matched here in this one. And at the moment, you don't have heavy precipitation, so they're getting a consistent racetrack right now. They're starting to get in rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. You can see that big puddle at the inside turn number 4. You usually look there for raindrops or precipitation. That's where you can really tell if we have more rain coming. But right now, the track's not really at the wettest condition we've seen it all day. And Wisman getting a good run off the bond, almost enough to clear Aaron Green, but just that outside momentum is too strong with Aaron. And I think he's really gotten it figured out as we move on in this race. And someone that's not figured out is his brother.
Nope.
Matt Green going around, and then McKenna Cox gets the bumper from Riddell. Couldn't get it wound up in time, but again, not too bad of damage for everyone right there. Looks like we should be able to continue.
Well, I believe we're going to get another chance to look at it and see how it all went down. I think you're just right. It was a matter of how quickly can you get the truck slowed and get it slowed safely, and I don't think Riley had much of a chance to get her slowed too safe. But let's take a look on the miracle of replay coming in right into your screen here.
Yeah, keep an eye on that green of Matt Green, the green truck, green and black, number 7, going down in. And it looked like he's looking to try to maybe get to the inside, and just right as soon as he let off the gas or got on the brakes, the rear end came around, and Riley Riddell just a little bump to McKenna. And, I mean, really the damage was not too bad. It was really a fairly soft hit for what it could have been, and it doesn't look like too many trucks got tore up right there.
So far, so good. We're okay. There's not going to be a lot of parts coming from the auto wrecking yard yet. To put them back together. Now, I want you to look at this down the back straightaway. Right there, as they're crossing across, you can see the light shining on it. There's a runoff portion on the back straightaway, which has got a lot of wet down it. That's in a really interesting spot, and I wonder if that's going to play a factor a little bit later on in the program, as that's a pretty prime deceleration spot. So if you carry your momentum too far into it and are getting your tires way into that wet with some speed, that could cause some trouble. See if that plays a factor. Is on this restart, Aaron Green driving up and around Wisman. He's got the lead going down into turn number 3.
Yeah, we saw the 8 of Shane Green look way down low, and there he goes again down in 3 and 4, trying to run that very bottom groove almost underneath Wisman. And here comes Doug Wilkinson out of nowhere. Boy, was he shot out of a cannon. He's carrying a ton of speed, running that high line. Well, that's more the middle line right there, trying to find his way through. And whatever he's got going, that 27 truck, it's rolling right now as he's to the outside of Wisman. And Aaron Green's, for the first time, is kind of clear the 98, as he's got a mirror full of 27 as well.
So the terminology that we're going to use with Wilkinson there is that he pinched the corner off. What he did is he took a really sharp angle into the turn, not letting Wisman get up the racetrack, forcing him to continue to turn the truck, scrub speed coming in here. You're going to get a look at it and watch the hand motion for Wisman as he saws on the MPI steering wheel getting into the turn. And he has to keep those wheels turned the whole time, and that's scrub speed. You want to be straight. Straight is not scrubbing speed in these things. Into the corner on the bottom, and he's still just pinned in there, so right about here, you would want to straighten the wheel out and start coming off the corner a little bit straighter to carry your momentum like Green is doing. So Wilkinson with a very effective pinch on the outside of Wisman as we look at the in-truck camera.
Yeah, Wisman's doing a great job right here. When you're on that inside line on the wet weather conditions, it's really hard because the truck wants to go up. It wants to drift up the track, and if you carry too much speed, it's really nothing you can do at that point. So he's really has to ride that line the best he can. It looks like Wilkinson maybe almost went too far, a little too high there coming off turn number 2, and he had to back out of the throttle just enough for Wisman to kind of gain ahead. And Wisman's going to be to the inside of Green, and almost a little bit of contact there coming off the corner. That upset the 6 truck, and Wisman's able to take over the race lead that time at the line with 15 to go.
Yeah, he pulled from 3rd to 1st. Nice corner for Wisman, and Green, I don't know if he had a boo-boo or what happened. We know what happened to Wilkinson, and Wilkinson now coming after Green, looking for 2nd position. He goes down to the inside. Wilkinson might have a good enough truck that he can pass high or low at this point in time. Doug Wilkinson going to be a factor.
Yeah, we saw him carry a ton of speed through the middle of the corner and also up top. So, then there goes Aaron Green. Is carrying a little too much speed going down the corner. We saw that happen on the initial restart, and there it happens again. So, tough break there. Yellow flag's going to come back out with 14 to go as that's your second place truck off the track. As we'll take a quick look at the replay before we head to break and see what exactly happened to the sixth truck of Aaron Green, who was your race leader a few laps ago and just trying to overcompensate and got maybe a little bit higher line than he had been running maybe, and just overcooked it and center off the track.
Shows you that you got a very, very thin margin for error in the Pro 4 trucks. We're going to come back with the thrilling conclusion of their A main event coming up next here on Home Track Heroes on the CW11. Welcome back to Home Track Heroes on the CW11. Caleb Hart, Kyler Hope with you. And so far, it's already been a wild evening with the wet weather that's out on the racetrack. These trucks have been slipping and sliding left and right. We're in the Pro 4 truck main event. There are just 12 laps to go and a restart coming up with Doug Wilkinson on the inside and Chris Wisman on the outside. Going to be interesting.
Yeah, so the race leader is Doug Wilkinson on the inside line, but I think it's where he has to restart, but I think the outside line really has the advantage. So whoever ends up being in second place at the time of the caution really sits in the best spot in the house because that outside line is a little bit drier, you carry a little bit more speed, a little more momentum, but Doug Wilkinson's going to try to go up and clear Wisman, and he does go down the back straightaway, so Wilkinson able to make that inside line work and take over or maintain the race lead going down to number 3.
Wilkinson, a veteran here at Evergreen Speedway, knows how to get around and knows what he needs to do on restarts in any given situation in order to put himself in the best position. He'll do that. Now it's Wisman's turn, and you're seeing Wisman with a chance to go up and run the ragged edge, run the top, and he's really not taking advantage of it yet. Look out, car, truck, making a buck for me. Looping around on the back straightaway, it's McKenna Cox.
Yeah, and that's just a matter of pushing it too hard off the corner and letting the rear end come around a little bit, which I feel like with these trucks could be a little bit easier than the cars we're going to see later on racing today, especially like the mini stocks. That rear end's so long, a little bit longer wheelbase for some of these guys, and it could just be easier for that rear end just to step out a little bit, and once it starts to step out, it's really, really hard to save.
You also look at the way that most trucks are built, most small trucks. There's not a ton of weight over the back tires, so it's going to be easier for that back end to snap out and around for you, unless they're building these things with a bunch of weight, or if they need to make weight putting lead over the rear of them, which I can't say that I've heard of, but yeah, there it is. McKenna just kind of snapping around in the back straightaway. Good job avoiding everything. 360 spin, and she will join up at the back of the pack.
Yeah, Riley Riddell there in the 20 truck did a great job. He locked up the brakes momentarily, was able to get the wheels unlocked and steer out of the way of the 24 truck. As those two really have been near each other for a lot of these incidents. So it's a miracle that they don't have more damage than they really do.
Magnets on their two trucks.
Yeah, and look, they're going to be restarting next to each other at the back of the pack.
Two of the trucks that do have aftermarket bodies on them, and one of the things about that is that there is a manufacturer who makes a small truck, like a Pro 4 truck aftermarket body. You have to take like a full truck, like the ones that you see on the NASCAR Craftsman trucks, take that body, cut it in half and put it back together in order to slim it up enough to fit on these trucks. So a lot of fab goes into the bodies, and I know they don't want to tear them up, and so far, so good.
Yeah, they've done a great job of making it exciting without tearing up too much stuff. As we got the restart here, Wisman on the outside, able to clear Wilkinson. Wilkinson looked like he pushed heavy in that corner. Now we're going to go 3-wide with some greens, and that's not the way you want to be facing Doug, as he had contact there with the 8 of Shane Green to his inside, and Wilkinson's going to go up in that green grass we talked about, but the caution does come out for him. As that was some hard racing inside your top 4. Is unfortunate to see Doug Wilkinson end up with a short stick there.
Yeah, I feel bad for Doug in that scenario. Wisman had a dynamite restart, and it just went from bad to worse as he's losing gap on your leader. The greens go in to make a Wilkinson sandwich, and nowhere to go, around and out.
And we see everyone do a great job getting the trucks wound up enough, and Riley Riddell was able to keep it out of the back of McKenna Cox that time with the spinning truck in front of them. So some improvements all around as we have 6 laps to go here.
We do. This segment brought to you by Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. They now have sports betting. Think you can pick a winner? Prove it at Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle. Exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington. All right, if you're a betting man, what do you think?
I'm a betting man. I mean, it's hard to beat Wisman right here because he's been so strong no matter what on the bottom or the top, but now he's on the bottom with a new runner. So with the 8 truck in black flag for the contact, he's in the back of the pack also. That puts McKenna Cox up to second. And she's going to be her first time on the outside, so maybe she's able to create a good run and pinch Wisman down, but I think that 98 truck's just too strong.
Talk about your get-out-of-jail-free card from McKenna Cox. I mean, we've seen her around a couple of times and through circumstances and having her nose clean at the right time. There she is starting outside row number 1 on the restart. Not bad.
Yeah, she's able to carry enough momentum to maintain that second spot, while Wisman was able to clear her going down the back straightaway. So that 98 truck is just hooked up no matter what lane he restarts on. We'll see if he's able to hang on here. Another 6 laps to go. I mean, we've seen how treacherous or how quickly just one little mistake it can take, and sometimes it's not even your fault. So as we go 3 wide a little bit farther back in the back, let's see if the 98 keeps the nose clean.
They're nearly 4 wide coming off that corner. Riddell's the one who ends up hanging it out all the way onto the new pavement. 3 wide with Aaron Green. Wilkinson down on the bottom as both of them fighting forward. At this point, Wisman just wants to see this thing stay clean. You don't want any more restarts. Restarts have been a bit of the bane of his existence. So there's Riddell working to the outside of the 8 truck of Shane Green trying to move forward and maybe sniffing a podium in the rookie run.
Yeah, Riley Riddell has come alive. He's really found a liking to that top groove that we've talked about so much. And he's really made his way forward. And he's passed 4 trucks, and 3 of them have been up front battling for the race lead for the majority of this race. So there's no slouches back there. Riley Riddell now sits in 4th with, I believe, Matt Green right in front of him. So he's been impressive these last few laps. He's finally starting to get a handle on that wet weather with that truck.
There's Aaron Green, who you saw lead a little bit earlier in the white and orange 6, still trying to make his way forward as Wisman finally putting some gap on the rest of the field. It's cruise control for Chris Wisman, McKenna Cox, Matt Green 1 through 3, and we should see a white flag on its way.
Yeah, it's the first time Chris was able to run a few laps wherever he wants to put the truck. He didn't have someone who was outside battling hard or someone pushing him from behind at all. So it's the first time he's able to really start running his own line, and it shows just how dominant of a truck he has. His white flag is out for him as they go by the start-finish line. McKenna Cox has a lot of pressure from Matt Green behind her, but we'll see up here at the 98 as he's going down the back straightaway for the final time.
Looks pretty easy for Wisman. Fended off a lot of challenges, ends up on top as the first Pro 4 truck main event of the year goes to Chris Wisman. Checkered flag underneath the wet weather is Riley Riddell. One more spin out just for good measure.
Yeah, we were talking about him. We gave him a little bit of a curse there. We're talking about how good he's been doing. As he was sitting in 4th, coming to the line, and then ended up, maybe 250 feet short right there.
Well, too bad. Good run, though, for him. And, hey, you know what? I'll take the headset off and go get ready to talk to our truck winners.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look like it's raining right now, but you still might want to grab a jacket or a sweatshirt when you head on down to talk to these drivers on the podium. The Angel of the Winds podium is Wisman. Look, it's not very animated. You think he'd be a little bit happier getting his first win, finally getting that podium done. There's a little bit of hand waving to some fans as Wisman, McKenna Cox, and Matt Green will head on down to the Angel of the Winds podium with Caleb Hart.
Man, that was weird, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was super weird. For a second, I thought I was going to lose it for a second, take out everybody, but managed to hold on to it and pull off a win tonight.
Starts and restarts were kind of the story of your race out there. Sometimes you hit it strong. Sometimes they were dead even with you. What was going on with those? Was it controlling the tires due to the wet weather or what?
The restarts were not my friend. Coming off, the green flag dropped, and it was trying to just not spin it out. I couldn't keep it under. It just.
I mean, you ended up getting there. It was a challenge, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a challenge. It was a real big challenge. And then Doug came up from the back, and I thought for sure I wasn't going to pass him.
Well, you got him. You got him back. You get the win here on your first race of the year. You had a lot of guys who helped you with the truck. Who are they?
I want to thank Skookum Brewery, Olympia Pizza and Pasta, Brian at LB Motorsports, Kurt and his family, my parents, all my friends and family that came. Oh, boy. Jim Wiz at Race Car Help, and everybody else who helped with the truck.
What a weird main event that was for you. That truck was sideways, backwards, forward, back, and in the end, you end up in second place. How?
Honestly, I have no idea. I didn't think I was going to finish.
Well, you end up finishing in late restart thanks to all the chaos that happens. You're outside row number 1. What's going through your head at that point?
Honestly, I just wanted to finish. I don't know.
And you finished. I mean, it caps off what's been a pretty cool week for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell the world some of the cool things that have happened for you this week on top of your second place.
I'm now a certified pharmacy technician. Yeah, that's about it.
And you're now a second place finisher at Evergreen Speedway. Congratulations. Who are your sponsors and who helped you out?
Flynn Carpet Sense, my brother and dad, definitely. They got the whole car done and ready. Truck, sorry. And Hager Motorsports, 2.5 Men, Impel Construction, and Toby Jenkins. And Joe's.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mechanic Cox gets second tonight.
What?
Well, you know, it's a little damp out there. Tell me, it's going to be a recurring question all night long. Track conditions, how much fun were they to go race in?
Well, I can't imagine what it would be like to have rain tires.
Just a thing? Maybe it's something to add to the list of stuff for the week and the off week?
Sorry, I didn't listen to what you said.
It's all good. Tell me about it. How much fun did you have driving that course tonight?
Oh man, it was a blast. Big handful, obviously. You know, you can't really lay down a whole lot of power, but I had a blast. You know, it's going home one piece. That's all I can ask for.
Good job tonight. Congratulations. You want to say thank you to anybody?
Thanks for my dad, my brother, my aunt and uncle, everyone that helped support me. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on CW11. First main event is done. Second one rolling out, and it is figure 8 time, most dangerous intersection on the planet. And we got the super stock figure 8s rolling out, and you see those beautiful machines on your screen right now coming from the pits. And Caleb, it's going to get exciting really quick here.
Let's make it even more dangerous by putting some standing water around the racetrack. You can see the puddles, and if anybody gets out of control, if anybody gets cattywampus, it's going to get ugly in a hurry. We are on pace laps right now. Let's introduce our drivers.
On the front row, we got the JE55. That spells Jess. That is Jessica Wilkinson, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating on the pole. And to her outside, the 72 of Jeff Talbert, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating as well.
Row number 2, Doug Delfell, the 01. Next to him, it's the 11 of Jim Mackey.
The 67 of Mackenzie Deeds, sponsored by BECU, is inside row 3. And to her outside, that's the 36 of Bill Flyshaker, sponsored by Sound Stump Removal.
The 4th row is Quentin Borison. It's car number 17, Mrs. Turner's Hometown Cafe of Puyallup, and the 007 Jim Powers, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating.
And rounding out the field is the first week's winner. That's the 67S of Mike Steltz. And we get set for 30 laps in the very, very damp conditions of the most dangerous intersection on the planet.
So you can see after the trucks have come off and the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8s come on, there was Wilkinson literally splashing up a puddle with her left front tire as she came around right by where the starter station is. So this course is going to be a little more treacherous with standing water, and the weather has taken a little bit of a turn. There is definitely some sprinklage happening at the moment for these guys and girls to go out and compete under.
Yep, and this segment is brought to you by Bardall. Bardall Manufacturing, located in Seattle, is a world leader in automotive lubricants. With oils, additives, and lubricants for your car, truck, boat, or motorized toy, pick up the brand racers around the world rely on. Bardall, celebrating over 82 years in business and operating in 90 countries. Make Bardall your brand. As the green flag is out as they barrel down into the South Pole, and Talbert getting a little bit sideways, but able to hang on to it for now. It looks like everyone's able to get through the South Pole for the time being so far. Yeah, it looks like it.
You know, Kyler, there's never a bad time to be the race leader, but especially in these conditions, in this division, and we'll also see the Outlaw figure 8s later on, but in the figure 8s, I would want to be the person out front setting the pace, not in traffic. Somebody right on your bumper was just going to ratchet up the fear factor and the probably need to slow the car down factor, letting that leader rabbit. So I think Wilkinson's in prime position here, and she's already trying to stretch that advantage out, as you see Mackenzie Dietz and Doug Delfell battling for third. Delfell in the mustard yellow 01 and Dietz in the red 67.
Yeah, it's got to be so hard for these drivers because not only are they turning right, turning left, they got to battle all the cars around them, and they have to worry about the wet weather conditions and not overcook it down the straightaway and not get sideways like Talbert's doing. He's able to hang on to it again. We've seen that 72 car sideways multiple times now, and he's able to keep it pointing in the right direction still. That's allowed Borison to get to the inside of Dietz now as they head back down on South Pole, and he's looking for more as he's trying to crack the top 3 here early. And Quentin Borison, not only is it hard for everyone else, but he's also doing this only with one arm. He's the one-arm bandit. As there goes Talbert around, and that's Jessica Wilkinson facing the wrong way as well. So something happened to our race leader coming around the South Pole, and that's first, and we saw second place. Now both facing the wrong way.
And that's going to give the point to Doug Delfell, so you can really see veteran guile and experience coming into play early, as it's Delfell and Boris in 1-2 with Dietz sitting in the third spot.
So how quickly things can change here in Superstock Figure 8 racing, as now it's Doug Delfell, the Grizz, your race leader, with 26 laps to go, but he has got the 6 or 7 time champion, the one-arm bandit, Quinn Borson, right behind him now.
And slower traffic to deal with right in front of him, so Delfell going to have to be cautious but aggressive at the same time, and he might have just caught a break, as I think Talbert just moved out of the way, knowing that he is already going a lap down, and let the leaders get by.
Yeah, very, very nice of Talbert to do that. Very sportsmanlike for him in that 72 car. Now he's going to fall between first and second place, so it's going to give Delpha a little bit of time to try to check out and build up that race gap. Like you mentioned, if you want to be the race leader, you want to set the pace, but you also want to try to get as far in front of second place so you don't have that pressure behind you. You can just focus on what's in front of you and eventually what's going to be crossing in front of you when that X starts to heat up.
You'll take a look at Delfell, who has expanded now. Borison finally underneath Talbert, and Dietz trying to come with. Delfell in just a few short laps expanded to a decent little advantage over Borison. Borison now clear of Talbert. Will have a chance to try to run him down as you get a good look at track conditions. Again, standing water in places all over the raceway as the one-armed bandit trying to run down Delfell for your lead.
And it's also different from the oval track, where there's a little bit of banking, a little bit more, I guess, grip for the drivers to lean on, and it also allows the water to drip down the track. Here, it's mainly flat surface all over the place, which allows for puddling and allows for water to build up a little bit more. And it's no side force for the drivers to lean on as they go into these corners. So it's really, really easy for their back end to step out, like we mentioned.
Our camera people are doing a really good shot of it, but you can see that the acceleration zone here for the Superstock figure eights is pretty significantly different than what it is under dry conditions. Borison's catching up to them, but they're really getting all the way around the corner and really pointed straight down into the next pole before babying into the throttle for a little ways. There's still a decent amount of tire spin. Delfell, I mean, that rear tire really doesn't start picking up speed until in the North Pole he's at the starter's line. So it's an interesting scenario that they're working with, and definitely the veterans who have run in the rain in the past have got an advantage here, and you can see it as they're stretching out over the rest of the field pretty significantly.
Yeah, exactly. I think these two drivers here might have more laps on the figure eight track than a lot of the other competitors in this division. Quinn Borison and Doug Delfell, they've been staples in figure eight racing here at Evergreen Speedway, and they're definitely showing that experience. They probably have more laps in the rain than a lot of these drivers do laps in general around the track. So they've done it before. They've been here, they've been there, and they've done that, and now they're showing everyone else how to get it done as they continue to battle on. And Quinn Borson looking to the outside, trying to carry some momentum and try to create that pass, but it's so hard because the inside line where they're running has almost sort of dried out. Now they've got some heat in there. If you try to step up where Quinn Borson's looking to run right now, it's still wet and it's cold and it's slippery.
Yeah, it's really forcing Borson to be more conservative by nature. You see him peeking to the outside, but he has really not been willing to commit to carrying the outside line all the way around a corner. He'll peek to the outside at corner entry and then pull back in right around the apex. Right there, you see him already kind of just diving back inside. And another maneuver you could think that he might be trying would be to try to diamond the turn off. The idea would be to get underneath him at corner exit and force him down in the intersection to where he would have to check up really hard before getting about to the Uke tire on the next pole. Hasn't done it so far. He's going to continue looking outside going into the South Pole here as we're approaching halfway.
Yeah, exactly. You said we're getting there about to halfway. So Quinn Borson knows he still has quite a bit of time to make a move, but he also was trying to put the pressure on, maybe make Delfell make a mistake as he's looking all over, maybe a little bit of bumper, a little bit tapping right here, trying to upset the 0-1 and look to the inside. Another thing he might do, like you mentioned, diamond the corner and carry that extra momentum and that extra speed, make the straightaways longer as we see him go a little wide there and get really loose. He's going to lose a lot of time there, but make the straightaways longer and carry some more speed. But then if you're carrying more speed, you have to have a different braking zone than what you've been doing all race long, which can upset the car or make you overshoot the corner, kind of like what we just saw Quinn Borson do right there.
I hate to quit harping on it, but I mean, with the wet conditions, it really limits your opportunity to pass. It's more going to be based on, does the guy in front of you make a mistake, which Delfell almost just did. Boy, that was wide getting into the turn, and Borison Borison made up a ton of ground, almost had a chance to stick his nose in.
Yeah, we saw Delfell get really, really loose going to the South Pole last time by. We've seen him do that once or twice already, so maybe Quentin's seeing that that's where Doug is having a little bit of a weak point, so maybe he's going to try to put a little bit extra pressure there going into the South Pole and really force him to make a mistake, and just trying to figure out any way around him without using too much of that front bumper, which Quentin Borison's been, I think, very generous because he's had more than enough chances to try to move the 0-1 out of the way.
Well, and to be fair, too, Delfell is running him very clean. He has not pinched him. He's run a consistent line the whole time. So these two veterans treating each other with respect on the raceway. It's good to see is Borison up on the back of Delfell again. And if it is a bump, it's just a little touch. Hey, I'm here. It's not really getting him sideways. This is a master class in running with respect between two veterans.
Exactly, yeah. Quinn Borison getting another good run to the outside, and he's just trying to carry all that momentum that he can to stay to that door, but just cannot get the throttle down. It's just such a longer way around, especially at these slower speeds. You just can't quite do it. As Talbert's going to go around in front of your race leaders, Borison's going to have to go the really long way around, and that's going to hurt his momentum as we saw him to the outside of the 0-1 for a moment. And there, I mean, it's just a wrong place, wrong time for that lap car to be going around.
Well, we stayed green at the same time there. That could have been a huge benefit for Borison to get a chance to start on Delfell a little bit different. But here's a look at the in-car of what's going on at the moment. Quentin Borison really wrenching that wheel with just one arm, trying to get his way around and find his way around Delfell, your leader.
Yeah, I love the shot of Quentin Borison. You see, I mean, obviously it's a stick shift vehicle that he drives with one hand. He's not shifting in these corners on these wet weather conditions. He's just trying to do everything he can to stay to that door of the 0-1 as they're going to go way down in there. You see him go wide again. Great job from Borison keeping that thing underneath him as he's putting that car way out wide where it's really wet, really slippery, and really cold, and he's able to hang on to this car. He's getting a little bit more and more impatient as we got down these laps right here.
You'd almost see him driving with the throttle in points in time, as it's really throttle dependent on what he's doing. Throttle control and car control is coming into a huge play here in the Superstock Figure 8s as time is rapidly running out. Delfell continuing to hold off Borison, and Borison looking for every opportunity to circle him.
Yeah, he's waiting for that mistake, but I think he's really trying to force that mistake on the 0-1 as we've seen a lot more bumper these last few times around the South Pole and the North Pole as Borison, again, able to get to that door almost all the way side by side on corner entry, but just by corner exit, he loses that completely and is back behind Delfell, just trying to find the way around, but just can't quite get the right combination going right now.
And now there was an idea. He almost had him pinched a little bit low getting into the corner. Borison finally kind of coming off just wide enough, and if he can get a little bit better run off the North Pole, he might be able to beat Delfell to the bottom of the South Pole getting in. We'll keep our eyes on it.
Talk about how great of a run Delfell has had this entire time. Not made a single big mistake to cost him. He made that one. We saw him get really loose going to the South Pole, but with the 6-time champ on your back like it's been the entire race, and to maintain that composure, it just shows how much experience Doug Delfell has and how strong of a racer he is as they continue to battle side by side going to the South Pole with some lap traffic right there in front of that's Talbert as that crossover the intersection might get interesting here with the lap traffic as we continue on forward right here.
Slower car could play a big factor coming down into the nitty-gritty. Delfell comes off the corner a little bit wide. Borison lining him up, trying to work to the outside, getting into the South Pole with Talbert lingering right in front of the two. Now Borison coming into slower traffic, tucks right in behind him. Does Talbert brake correctly for Delfell here?
As they go around the North Pole one more time, 3 laps to go as they go by the start-finish line. That's Talbert right there. He's going to make Delfell go wide and around him. So that allows the inside for Quinn Borison. He's there, a little bit of contact, some door-to-door action as they go around the South Pole. That was the hole you needed as Delfell... We saw one car going to do some donuts right there. I think that was Mike Stelz, but Quentin Borison was finally able to get that gap he needed, but now Delfell's on the inside line as they go around the North Pole, and caution flag is out for the 67. So tough break there for Delfell. I think he's going to come on the short stick there. Quentin Borison had the lead at the line the last completed lap. and that's going to give the race lead to Quentin Borson. What timing for him, and what a tough break for Delfell right there.
Sometimes the yellow flags work out for you, sometimes they don't, and lap traffic right there is really what ended up biting Delfell. He didn't make a single mistake by himself, but coming into the slower car, thought he could take him coming around to the outside, and no such luck. Unfortunately, new race leader Quentin Borson. So we're getting ready for the restart. We got to tell you a little bit about something cool that we're doing here at Evergreen Speedway, right?
Exactly, yeah. So you see on your screen, Advance My Track, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. You can go online and vote up to 3 times a day, and 50 grand coming to the winner of the sweepstakes. And
right.
Evergreen Speedway committed 25,000 of that to charities, so that's awesome. So go on, vote. The other 25 is going to go into improving the conditions at the racetrack as well as the grandstands. So it's definitely going to be something you want to go on and check out. Vote for Evergreen Speedway, Advance Auto Parts, Advance My Track Challenge, and I mean, $50,000. That can go a long way. 25 to charity and 25 to track improvements. That's a really cool deal Advance Auto Parts got going on.
Hey, 50G is 50G, man. That sounds like a good deal. Get on, vote often, vote Evergreen Speedway.
Exactly. So 2 laps to go right here for Quentin Borson, and what that does, that brings Mackenzie Dietz back in the picture. We'll see what she's able to do on the it's going to be the outside on this restart once we come around the North Pole, as the green flag is back out in the air. Quentin Borson, right time for him for that caution as he now has the race lead, and we'll see maybe Delfell can put a little bit of pressure back on his back bumper.
Yeah, just be a green, white, checkered restart too as I take a look at the lap count. So there it is, Borson through the intersection. We'll have a clean intersection as Delfell getting away from Dietz. Dietz did a good job. She was hanging on to third that whole time as we were watching the killer battle for the lead. She did a great job running in the third position. White flag one more time around. Quentin Borson looking for the feature win in the wet stuff.
Yeah, and he's so far so good going around the South Pole, keeping everything pointing in the right direction. Is able to open up enough of a gap over Doug Delfell where that's not really a concern as he goes into the North Pole for the final time. Coming around the corner, it's going to be the one-arm bandit Quentin Borson picking up the win after he really had to work for it to get around Doug Delfell, who comes home second place, and Mackenzie Dietz brings it home third.
Boy, these drivers worked hard for this one. They out slinging the V8s around in the wet stuff. It'll be fun. I'm going to go wander down and hand out some trophies to Borson and Delfell and Dietz. Good run by all 3 of those drivers.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to bring your rain jacket as we're going to ride on board with Quentin Borson right here as he's going to bring it up to the Angel of the Winds platform, as that rain's definitely starting to come down, as he didn't have to use his windshield wiper, but it's there. You know, a lot of these guys here in the Northwest are going to have windshield wipers, but Caleb Hart going on down to the Angel of the Winds winners platform with your top 3. Quentin Borson coming on with the win, Doug Delfell second, and Mackenzie Dietz brings it home third.
Well, Quentin, racing in the wet weather, it's difficult. How difficult is it when you only got one arm out there to pilot the car?
You know, Dave Brandenburg did a wonderful job. He made some changes before the main, and boy, did that work. That car was really fast. It was on rails. Didn't seem to matter how much water came down. It just stayed on rails. It was really good.
Was it an exercise in patience for a little while?
You know, I try to do that all the time. I want to race everybody as clean as possible. I thought it was a little bit rougher with Doug than I am usually on most races and stuff. I was just trying to get him just in that right spot so I could make a nice pass on the outside. It finally worked, but it was a wonderful race. I had a lot of fun. I love racing with Doug. I've raced with him since I started in 1984. He's been one of my best friends out here.
It speaks to how well respected you are as well, that everybody thinks of you as a clean driver, and it's weird when you do get a little bit of a panel into him. A great run for you tonight, a great win for you tonight. Do you want to say thank you to anybody?
Yeah, I want to say thanks to you. You know, I mean, I'm watching you on TV every week and stuff. This is the first time I've actually got to sit here and talk with you, so that's kind of cool. I got Olympia Pizza House, a really good friend up in Smoky Point. You guys go up and see him, get some pizzas and stuff. He's on the 98 car, so he's on the podium twice tonight. The 98 truck, I mean. Olympia Pizza House, Butch Aldrich, my friend up north. Kelly's Auto Repair, Mrs. Turner's Hometown Cafe, Clearview Family Dentistry, and Dry Crawls, and then there's Sound Stump Removal.
Congratulations, great win.
Thanks, I appreciate that. And thank you guys for all coming out in this nasty weather.
Man, wrong place, wrong time for the slower traffic, but a good main overall. Tell me your thoughts on it.
You know, it was awesome. I got to tell you that I've never had this car work like that in the rain, and it was nice. I Quentin was super patient with me. I think we had the 2 best cars in that rain event. And second place is pretty cool.
Talk to me about the challenges of running these super stock figure eights in the rain. What's way different about them?
It's slippery. It's kind of like driving in the snow. But it's, I don't know, my car is better in the rain and it has been in the dry for 3 years. So I'm pretty happy with it.
You drove the wheels off it tonight. Congratulations, sponsors, etc. Anybody who has earned your thanks this evening.
Yeah, I would like to thank Nutty's Junkyard Grill in Arlington and Mazda of Everett.
Talk about an interesting race night, Mackenzie. You look pooped. It must have been fun hustling that car around the track.
It was definitely just really hard and wet out there, and just trying to get the car to turn. It was really difficult, but the crew's been working on it all day, and we made a bunch of changes from the last race, so I'm excited just to take home third.
You said it was hard to get the car to turn. Is that a combination of just like actually physically getting it around without breaking the back end loose? And I'm assuming a lot of throttle control out there tonight too.
Throttle control, brake, using the steering wheel, and just hoping that it, you can get it to turn. But I have to thank my crew for all the work that they did. As you might have known, we had some work to do last weekend, but I got to give a shout out to Mike Stelz for helping us get the car back out and getting her looking good again. So,
and into victory lane with a third. Congratulations. Anybody else you need to say thank you to, sponsors, etc.?
Absolutely. I got to thank BECU, Rep and Welding and Rail, Buzzin, 2 Girls and a Leaf. Who am I missing, Mom? Wellness Solutions and Massage. Thank you. My crew, and it's such a pleasure and just amazing time being up here with Doug Delfell and Quentin. They're absolutely amazing, and I've learned so much from them over the years. So.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on CW11. Caleb Hart, Kyler Hope here in the booth with you guys, as it's been a little bit of a weather change since the Superstock figure eights have finished up with their podium and this next class of mini stocks have rolled out. We got quite the rain cloud that has come over us right now.
About 20 years ago, there was a movie called White Squall that hit theaters. It wasn't very good, and it didn't make a lot of money, but it was appropriate for what we're about to go race in here, because my goodness, is it coming down.
Yeah, so I mentioned how the Pro 4 trucks, when they're on the 3/8 mile a few segments ago, it was a damp track. It was wet. They're still sliding around. This is a very, very wet track that the the 4-cylinder mini stocks have to tackle right now.
That's right. If they got windshield wipers, they should be going full bore right now. I mean, we're talking I-5 down the freeway, wet weather, full spray mode. It's gonna be see, there you go.
That's
windshield
Nat Barber
wiper
right there on board with Nat Barber. We'll have to come check it back in on this shot later on, as I'm sure he's gonna give us some entertaining perspective of just how much you have to wheel around these front-wheel drive cars. Let's get to know your entire starting lineup. The 221 of Lyndon Smith is on the pole, sponsored by PRCBD.com. And right here, Nat Barber, you're on board with him. The 97 Racers Against Child Abuse Machine. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yep, second row, Justin Brave, car number 21. Clean Crawl's his sponsor. Lane Sunholm, our opening week feature winner in the J&R Trucking number 18.
Starting fifth on the field, that is the 26 of Jimmy Apsher, sponsored by Apsher Build LLC, and is outside the 20 of Jason Wilson.
In row number 4, the Gourmet Latte, number 07. That is Zach Bristol. Next to him, the white number 32 is Chase Gardner. He's sponsored by HCI Steel Buildings.
Next row is made up of the 23 of Ellie Musgrave, sponsored by Team Nelson Earthworks Utilities and Concrete. And 10th on the field is Gavin Ballou, sponsored by J2 Racing in the 12 machine.
In the row behind them, Tiffany Engbaum, car number 27, Erickson Real Estate. Then the 94, Brandon Brocky, sponsored by Whitewall Brewery in Marysville, Washington.
Then we got the 10 of Cameron Iverson, sponsored by Rod Helmuth. And then to his outside is the 24 of Jaden Kelly, sponsored by Tom's Automotive.
And bringing up the tail end of the field, Cassidy Sunholm, the J2 Racing at number 7.
So very, very wet conditions here for the BECU mini stocks as the pace car pulls off, lights are out, getting ready to go green, and just look at all the mist and the spray up from these guys as they go for the first time down into turn number 1. Hopefully we can make it there. Nat Barber's really cutting no slack to Lyndon Smith. He wants that inside line, gonna drift up to about middle of the track, and here comes Lane Sunholm carrying that outside momentum in the 18 as he's gonna clear Lyndon Smith going down into turn number 3.
It was a helter-skelter start, but you could clearly tell there were some drivers who were going to be comfortable racing around others, and others who wanted no part of being anywhere close to anybody on the initial start. Give lap 1 to Barber. So here comes Sunholm, and here's one of the weird things. So we know Barber front-wheel drive, Sundholm rear-wheel drive on the 18 car. You're going to see a really, really distinct difference in how those two race cars handle.
Exactly, yeah. With the front-wheel drive, you get that rear end around, you can kind of just mash the throttle and let the front end pull it straight. With the rear-wheel drive car that is the 18 of Sunhome, that rear end starts to go around. You really got to get off the throttle and let the car settle down before you try to get it back going again. So Lane Sunhome really is at a disadvantage as we got Jimmy Apsher going really sideways, kept it out of the green grass as they go down the back straightaway. That was really close to seeing Apsher go bye-bye.
Didn't we see Apsher almost go bye-bye in the heat race too? I think it seemed that's a recurring theme out of Apsher already as we got one around on the front straightaway. Is that Cassidy Sunhome?
It looks like the 7 of Cassidy Sunhome bringing out the first yellow, so we'll see her able to hopefully get it fired back up in the 7. So she started last in the field. She's going to go have to take the tail in the field. There you can really tell how hard the rain is coming down now.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. Well, these drivers are this is completely different scenario than what, I mean, even at the start of the day they expected. Is the moisture didn't really start kicking up till about 3 in the afternoon, so this is a surprise for them in terms of what they unloaded and prepared for. Let's see who's adjusted the best.
Yeah, so all divisions practiced in the dry. I think it was actually kind of sunny out too for practice if I remember, so a hot, dry track for them to practice on. Then a cloud-covered track for them to qualify on. Some of them even got a little bit of rain at that point. Heat races in some semi-wet conditions, and now main event in torrential downpour. So it's been a day for the BECU mini stocks, to say the least, as the green flag's back out in the air.
It was Sunholm getting an excellent start, although you can see the back end of that car kind of fishtailing down the straightaway as he tries to get it set into the corner and glued down to the racetrack as best as possible. He'll pull ahead on Barber down the back straightaway and try to take this early lead away from Nat. Sunholm rolls through 3 up on the high side, and I imagine, Lane's car is already good up there in normal conditions, but that's the safest part of the racetrack for him to be, is where he can keep his momentum up and going straight. So he's got the lead. I don't expect him to leave that top groove unless he's forced to.
Exactly, yeah. As you saw Apsher and then Nat Barber as well get really wide right there and really elongated that straightaway, and he was able to get the throttle down and carry some momentum around the 07 of Bristol and the 21 of Justin Brave, as they all kind of are battling for positions 2 through 4 right now. As you see Zach Bristol look to the inside momentarily on Nat Barber, as he's going to try that bottom line, but it's just so wet down there. You see how much spray from that 07 car as he picks up the throttle, able to keep it straight as he's trying to carry some momentum. As they're going to be side-by-side for third, Nat Barber and Zach Bristol putting on a good battle.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of passes on the inside of the racetrack here tonight, and, well, Bristol looking to prove us all wrong as he's using the bottom side, forcing Barber upstairs, and could just be that he's more comfortable keeping the foot in it longer. However, we're going to come to a stop, caution flag out on the racetrack.
Yeah, lights are out, and Apsher's going to go around for a little spin as well, trying to get the car woed up, but
the yellows were already out.
As he's going to get it pointed back in the right way. He'll be able to get his spot back up there on the second spot as we'll bring it back up to the booth. I believe the caution was for Ellie Musgrave going around on the back straightaway. So we'll bring it back up here, let those guys get reorganized. It's been quite the entertainment of this. I mean, you can see the rain on the lights from the top cameras. That's a lot.
We're racing in this. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's awesome, but it's ridiculous. I can only imagine how the drivers feel at this point in time.
Yeah, you can't find this kind of racing anywhere else in the nation because we're the only ones crazy enough to do it. And it's putting on a great show for you guys at home and the fans in the grandstands. I mean, they've got to be loving this because it's really just not something you see on a weekly basis anywhere. And we were talking about Zach Bristol and Nat Barber battling side by side. Those two probably have the most experience racing in the rain than anyone else in the field because a lot of these guys are rookies or new. And then you get Nat Barber and Zach Bristol who've been around Evergreen Speedway racing in all sorts of conditions forever.
You know, if they're old enough, they've earned themselves a Busch beer. Busch beer, the official beer of NASCAR and Evergreen Speedway. Busch beer, the sound of refreshment, crisp cold as a mountain stream. Keep your fridge happy by stocking it with Busch and Busch Light. Busch.
On Busch Light Night at the races as well here at Evergreen Studios. We're going to see Cameron Iverson going around for a little loop-de-loop, and I think he's going in the right direction, and he's going to have to go on the 5/8 and try to bring it back around as we stay green for now, side-by-side for third, as we have a new race leader. Jimmy Apsher is able to carry that outside line momentum on the restart and take over the race lead.
Man, we have seen it a couple of times. The outside is the preferred line on restarts, and I think that's especially prevalent here this evening, although now he's down on the bottom of the racetrack. That's surprising me.
Yeah, you think he'd want to stay up top and kind of carry that momentum around. A little bit drier surface we've talked about as Lane Sunham closes the gap a little bit, but look who's right there underneath Lane in the 07. That is Zach Bristol, who claims to be a pretty good rain racer. As the yellow lights come on, Jason Wilson up into the dirt or the grass up there. Doesn't look like there's that much damage to the car.
Just get a better look at the tire pile. That's all it is. He's trying to pick out some rubber for later on in the season, maybe. I don't know. Let's get it. I'm imagining we're going to get a replay. We'll get a replay of something.
We got a replay, I think, of Cameron Iverson and his little spin out at the beginning of this restart, just going down into turn number 1. And, yeah, it's very slippery when you enter turn number 1 right there. It's been a theme all night in heat races. We saw it a little bit earlier in the Pro 4 trucks as well. So, unfortunate day for Iverson. Is he going to be able to come back around and join the field after he went around the 5/8s? But I think he might have lost a lap or two throughout that. But Jason Wilson, we see him. He rejoined the field as well. So, obviously not too much damage to the 20 cars as we get ready to get back green.
All right, so now Sunholm's got the advantage of outside groove here on Absher. We'll see how this plays out, although we saw Absher good on the bottom of the racetrack, at least after they'd gotten up to speed. Well, that's a little helter-skelter, although it comes back mostly even through the middle of the corner. And to the line where Green Boy Lane took a really wide exit there, and Absher's at least going to have a car ahead of him getting into the middle of the corner, but it's not going to matter. We're going to do it all over again. Oops.
Oh, look out. That's a hard hit. Cassidy Sunholm couldn't get it load up enough and make some pretty good contact with the back of Jason Wilson. So if Jason didn't have any contact from the tires, we just saw him go off in turn number 3. He got a pretty good hit right there. That's also Justin Brave and I think the 94 of Brandon Brock as well. Those cars don't like they have too much damage. We'll take a look at a replay to see what went down on this restart. But like we mentioned, Lane getting really loose, trying to get throttled up. But in the third row, looks like, the 20 and the 21, Jason Wilson and Justin Brave got together, and Sunholm just could not get our car woed up enough going down the front straightaway, and that's a pretty good tail slap right there. It looks like
you don't see tail end to tail end wrecks very often where they both drive away moving forward, but in this instance, that's what happened.
So we're going to lose a couple cars to that wreck right there. As we see Jason Wilson driving off on the 5/8, so he tried to get it back going and just doesn't like how it feels now. Maybe after back-to-back wrecks, you want to just maybe pull it off and save your equipment.
The inside of the trailer is dry, and maybe that's it. And you look at it, I mean, there's some shrouding in these cars, but the wet's going to get in. And if you're already, spun out a couple of times and having to start at the back of the pack, I don't know, maybe hanging out in the trailer sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. As we're going to go on board with Nat Barber, where it's definitely not nice and dry like the trailer Jason Wilson is. He's just getting a mouthful of water from Lane Sunholm and Jimmy Absher, who as they battle right in front of him. He's got Zach Bristol to his inside as they're going to go sideways through 3 and 4. You can see him really have to make that save. Look at him work that wheel as they go back down the front straightaway. So this is very exciting as it just takes a little bit of contact and you're really, really sideways and having to throttle up and point the car in the right direction and just let her go.
Heck, not even that. Even if you miss the setup a little bit and the car's just a little too snug and you overturn it getting into the corner, there could be dire repercussions from this. As boy, these drivers have their hands absolutely full. Absher seems to be doing a pretty good job with it though, as he's got the lead 10 laps into this and 20 to go, at least as of right now.
Yeah, he's still running that really low line like we talked about, or kind of middle entry when the top, what seems to be more preferred, there he goes in 3 and 4. I wonder if he might just be kind of concerned. We saw him get loose earlier in the race. We saw him go off track in a heat race. So maybe he's just a little bit intimidated by that outside line, and he's just trying to play it more safe. But that's going to allow the 18 car.
Really swims
slippery.
It. Yep, here comes Sunholm. Use the opportunity to dive in. I mean, if you start low and you make a mistake like that, you've got more room on the racetrack to save it. However, you've got a wider margin for error up top because it's drier too. It's an interesting contrast between low and high groove. We'll see how Absher continues on as keep hugging the bottom of the racetrack going into 1 and 2, and Sunholm kind of finding some rhythm up top with slower traffic coming. That is Jaden Kelly, who provided me cookies and is a wonderful person, and thank you, Jaden, getting lapped.
And that was a tough 3 wide little spot we had right there going on the back straightaway. Lane was able to have enough room. As we see Nat go sliding through, that's going to allow Zach Bristol to take over 3rd place now. As we got a side-by-side battle for the race lead, Lane was able to use that outside line just to carry that momentum around like we mentioned. It's a little bit drier up there. Get the car pointed, get the throttle down a little bit earlier, but now I think Jimmy Absher knows that he's there and he's going to be really battling hard on the inside when we start pushing.
Yeah, now that he's there, Absher's got to be more aggressive, and this is when you're going to see potentially bigger mistakes happen. Absher fighting, though, for everything he's worth down on the low side. Sunholm up top. Even Steven at the apex of the corner down the back chute. Sunholm looking for the lead. Absher down low. Door panel to door panel as they get into 3.
This is a lot like what we saw in the Pro 4 truck main event where Well, now Jimmy Absher's going to go a little bit sideways on entry. That's going to allow Lane Sunholm to take over the race lead. But I would say it was looking a lot like what we saw with the Aaron Green and Christopher Wisman, side by side for so many laps, both so equal. But that one little mistake from Jimmy Absher allowed Lane Sunholm to check out. And just look at the momentum the 18 car can carry. We're going to go back to the battle for third.
You got to wonder if Sunholm found like his rhythm, found his sweet spot. Okay, I can be this hard into the throttle and go around. As professional rain racer Zach Bristol in third, holding off Nat Barber for the time being. And Bristol's going to want to try to hunt down those front two drivers. Is Absher still within the picture? He's still got a better finish potential for him for Bristol. It actually looks like he's rolling in on Absher a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jimmy is still running that little bit lower line, but you see Zach, just about a groove higher than what the 26 is running. So that just allows him to carry that much momentum, get to the throttle a little bit sooner, and just go a little bit faster. And he's starting to run down that 26. So Zach Bristol definitely has second place in mind as he's really hunting down the back end of the 26 car going down turn number 1 and 2.
Well, the other thing is some of the lesser experienced drivers are down just on the bottom, just making laps at this point in time. And if Absher's trying to make faster laps down there, he might have to make an adjustment as here comes Bristol after Absher. This is the battle for the runner-up position.
As it looked like I saw a car go around the back of the shot there. That was Ellie Musgrave. Yeah, it is Ellie Musgrave in the 23 bringing out the yellow flag. So we'll be back with the conclusion of the very exciting BECU Mini Stock main event after a word from our sponsors.
We come back to you with just 13 laps left in the BECU Mini Stocks main event here on Home Track Heroes on CW11. Caleb Hart, Tyler Hope in with you in extremely wet conditions. If you're just joining us, it has been a wet weather kind of show, and the mini stocks have dealt with it worse than any of the other divisions yet so far. Lane Sunholm is in the lead. Jimmy Absher, is right next to him. Zach Bristol in row number 2. Nat Barber, the orange 97, right by him as we go back to green flag conditions.
Yeah, then you see that 18 get really, really loose, trying to get that throttle down with that rear-wheel drive car, and Jimmy Absher is going to set it off into turn number 1. Oh. Where are you going, Jimmy? As he keeps it out of the tires, and he's going to go up onto the 5/8, and I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, the car's still rolling and in one piece. As we're going to stay green, that's going to give the lead back to Lane Sunholm, who had a less than ideal start on the bottom groove. Nat Barber is going to slide it up in there, and here comes Zach Bristol battling for second. So tough break there for Jimmy Absher. We saw him battling up with Lane Sunholm. Well, the other guy that's been able to lead some laps tonight, and he's going to park it early. But wow, that was a little too exciting for a restart right there.
That's kind of been a theme there for Jimmy Absher on the night, as we've seen him nearly around a few times, and it finally bit him for good as he slides all the way through the grass off the racetrack into the pit area where his night will end.
So tough break there for Jimmy Absher as he had a great run going. As we continue to watch this battle, I mean, Nat Barber and Zach Bristol, they're not letting Lane Sunholm really check out as they continue to battle for second. I think we've seen Zach Bristol start to run down Lane earlier. Lane and Jimmy Absher earlier when they were when he was running third, as Nat's gonna go really high that time by. He almost stuck off into the green grass. That's gonna allow Bristol to take over second place momentarily as they got some lap traffic to deal with.
Yeah, but it looked like fun, didn't it? He just slid so far up, and nice save Nat Barber, and actually to the point where he's still close enough to Bristol that he can make a move on him. And Bristol is definitely running down Lane Sunholm here. Sunholm working around Kelly to put her lap down once again. It is Sunholm, Bristol in the 07, Barber in 97, getting down to the nitty-gritty in this one, just 8 to go.
And like we mentioned, it really just takes that one little mistake, catching lap traffic in the wrong spot, getting too hard on brakes and having them lock up to really ruin your night, or carrying too much speed in turn number 1 and sending it off onto the 5/8 like we just saw Jimmy Absher do, and we've seen many other drivers do it throughout the night as well.
You wonder if, like, mid-skid, he just decided, okay, this looks like fun. Whee! No.
Gonna go this way.
Not when you're leading the race.
Yeah, I don't think he's having too much fun right there, no.
Yeah, well.
But someone who might be having some fun behind the wheel is Zach Bristol in the 07, as he is definitely catching Lane Sunholm as they go down with 7 laps to go, now 6.5 going down the back straightaway. That 07, he's there. He's definitely there.
That turn 1 shot shows you a really good look at the difference in lines between Sunholm and Bristol. Bristol coming off just a lane lower, going in a lane low into 1 and 2. We got a battle for the lead. It's been a long time since anybody ran down Lane Sunholm. I mean, once he gets out to the lead, he's usually gone, and tonight things have been a little bit different as he's having to push the pace to try to get up around and lap some more cars, and this has got to be uncomfortable for Lane. I don't think he expected to be having to hammer the throttle this hard as we're going to see, I believe that's the Hold Your Line flag coming out there. I thought it might be cutting laps out of this, but I could be wrong. Looked like the Hold Your Line flag for the slower traffic. So Bristol and Sunholm coming in and working on Kelly once again. We'll see how hard Lane feels like pushing it.
Yeah, that last time by, I think Lane used about every single inch of that new asphalt along the back straightaway going around Ingbaum in the 27 because he was way up there, and I don't think that's the spot he wanted to be on. But that might have been the race-winning move for him to push it that hard on the outside and carry the momentum around the lap traffic and not back out of it and try to preserve your equipment, because that was sketchy, because one little hiccup from a lap car when you're going around the outside of them at that fast of a pace, it's going to end not very pretty. But Lane Sunholm was able to make it work, but Zach Bristol was able to run him back down, just 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, this is not done. Sunholm has got Bristol within a car length of him down the back straightaway as we're coming into 2 to go. More slow traffic is going to come into your screen in a matter of mere seconds, and Sunholm might have to be super aggressive getting around these cars. Is that Absher back?
Yeah,
is he going to be a factor?
Absher back out on the track after his trip through the green grass. As they're going to go 3 wide around Ellie Musgrave, and Zach Bristol has a run on the bottom, able to get it hooked up enough to stay side by side for the moment with some more lap cars coming their way, and this could fall right into Zach Bristol's hands as he seems to be a little bit stronger on the bottom.
1 to go. The car in front of him is Absher, who led until he decided to drive through the grass. It is Sunholm, Bristol right in behind him. Bristol trying to pull even at the exit at turn number 2.
As Zach Bristol is able to carry that momentum better than anyone else on the bottom that we've seen. He's going to have the lap car of Absher, though, in front of him. That might be all the 18 of Lane Sunholm needed, and just not enough time for Zach Bristol. Lane Sunholm gets the victory, coming in hot on some lap traffic. Zach Bristol P2, and Nat Barber comes home 3rd. Wow, what a race. I think maybe a couple more laps and it would have been a different result for Zach Bristol.
Maybe. Hopefully he is stoked as we'll head down to the Angel of the Winds podium and get a talk with your top 3. Lane Sunholm, Zach Bristol, and Nat Barber.
Dude, all right, so I feel like we've got 1,000,001 things that I could ask you here, but there we go. Yep. All right, cute kids, we're in. So, start at the beginning. I mean, horrible conditions. It cost you in time trials pretty badly, all things considered, but you scrambled. You ended up getting up to the front of the field. You got the lead, and then you lost the lead. Starts and restarts, they were a bear, weren't they? Well, the bottom was no good for that car. It's slippery, real slippery. But the top was a little better, and it was getting a little drier as we went along, but I knew Zach was just a matter of time before he'd be there. So I had to slice those lap cars like crazy. So, I can't explain how it worked. It just did. Did it force you to be more aggressive than you really wanted to be in wet conditions? 100%. It was, I had to go crazy, and it was very uncomfortable and just right on the edge. How rewarding does that make this win for you? Awesome. Congratulations to you. You've got 2 people down here in victory lane. Who are these guys? These are Toby Jenkins' daughter, and this is Axel. He's my new trophy getter tonight. Perfect. And who are your sponsors? J&R Truck Rental, Lang Auto, Foss Motorsports, Mark Whedon Insurance, and Grandpa builds one hell of a motor. Man, Zach. So it's been a long time since anybody ran down Lane Sunholm, yet there you were at the very end of this race, putting the wheels to him. What was it? You figure out how to get the car around better? Did the car get better? What happened?
I'm pretty good in the rain, actually. I think that's what it mainly was. We went a little bit last year in the rain, whatnot, made the setup pretty good. I don't know how he makes the Mustang. The rear-wheel drive worked. Amazing driver lane. That was a lot of fun to just keep up with him.
What a weird night this was. You really had to work hard just to end up getting the finish you did.
Yeah, it is. It was really treacherous, kind of trying to make it work around that wet track, all the lappers, whatnot, but everybody kept the line. Got to the race in one piece. That's all that mattered.
Let us know who your sponsors are and who helps you out.
Gourmet Latte, Townsend Peterson, LLC, PMS Power Decals. Before I forget, these 2 little munchkins, hopefully this is next generation right here.
Nat, you're pooped.
Yes, that was less than ideal conditions.
That's basically exactly what we had been echoing for 30 laps there. How does it affect these smaller cars? A lot of power in these cars, short little wheelbases. How much of a difficult machine does it make it to drive?
Well, with the front-wheel drives like mine and Zach's, the only way you can drive out of it is to just power down. You have to stomp on the gas to straighten the car out, which is totally contrary to what you want to do, but that's what you have to do. So I was doing that every lap, the last 10 laps over 1 and 2. Felt like a drift car. But anyway, I got to thank my friend Mike Honcho. He came out. I decided to race at like 4 yesterday afternoon. And this obviously Mike came out and weathered this. So awesome. And my wife Amy and everybody that supports us with Racers Against Child Abuse.
Hey, thanks for weathering it out for us. I mean, you guys put on a show out there under bad conditions. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, hey, you know what? We're here to put on a show. So whatever we're doing out there, whatever conditions, we got to do it. So, yep.
Well, thank you, Caleb, for going down there and bearing those wet conditions we've been talking about, because that rain looks pretty cold down there.
It was not pleasant, I'll tell you this much. And the drivers were happy to be out of the cars, but they wanted to get back to the pit area as quickly as they possibly can to celebrate. We're going to have some more drivers celebrating here in just a couple of minutes. Frank's Radio, Outlaw Figure 8's coming up.
Yeah, going back to the most dangerous intersection on the planet, and it has been even more puddles now, because we just saw how hard it's raining, so we got a lot more water buildup down there for these guys. Let's get to know the starting lineup. That 67, that's not Mackenzie Dietz. That is Chris Curtis behind the wheel of Mackenzie Dietz's car, and that is sponsored by Boney Motorsports. And his outside is a 767 of Jamie Corbett, sponsored by A1 Auto Service Center.
Row number 2, 50 of John Carlson, the fireplace guy, Hearth and Home LLC. Next to him, Nick Holton is driving 74 tonight. Northwest Adventure Rentals, the sponsor on that car.
And in his second race of the night, that is Doug Wilkinson now in his his Outlaw Figure 8, sponsored by Tony B's Garage. That is the 55. And his outside is son, the 25 of Dakota Wilkinson, also sponsored by Tony B's Garage.
The final row is the 676 of Ricky Dietz, Tire Pros of Arlington, his sponsor. Ryan Clark next to him in the 51, and Miracles and Memories Academy, the sponsors there.
And for the Frank's Radio Outlaw Figure 8s, they get set to go green. This segment is brought to you by Buzzin' Steakhouse. Buzzin' Steakhouse serves hand-cut Angus steaks, breakfast all day, and mouth-watering burgers. Visit one of their 12 locations. Buzzin' Steakhouse, sponsor of the Stinger 8 classes. The Outlaw Figure 8s are green, and I think that might be a good place to go and dry off and celebrate is at the Buzzin' after this race tonight.
Have me a big old country fried steak. It sounds delicious. As we're watching Curtis driving the Mackenzie Dietz car, a little bit of driver roulette here in the Outlaw Figure 8s tonight. And you wonder, with the super stock Figure 8 car that got a little sideways off the corner, but with Chris Curtis in it, you wonder if the less power might be a little more advantageous on the slippery racetrack for a little bit. We'll see. I mean, if anybody can do it, it'll be Curtis. And he's got the benefit of track position on Carlson, although Carlson's got a lot of laps around this place, not only in the Outlaw Figure 8, but he's seen bad weather before, too.
Oh, yeah, and you saw him hanging it out sideways. They got those big wings to the side force. They're able to push it up maybe a little bit more than Curtis is in that 67, as we saw both times going around South Pole right here, how sideways the 50 was, as that inside line's getting really backed up with Chris Curtis holding him back, as there goes Doug Wilkinson getting it really sideways, able to hang on to it, and that allows the 74 of Holton to come up through a little bit, and that's Chris Curtis's normal car.
Aha, okay. So, like we said, driver roulette between the couple of cars here. 3 laps in, so far so good for Chris Curtis, just kind of hugging the bottom and not getting too wild, not letting the car hang out in too many spots. Carlson's being patient in behind him, and you can see the power that the 50 has as thing darn near broke loose in the intersection as he was trying to get on the gas.
Yeah, you can see how much they're really trying to baby the throttle. Once they get it pointed straight, they're really throttling down, but then we see all those puddles, and it's just really hard to keep that much power underneath you with how wet the track is and how slippery it is. And we saw how much rain was coming down, and it has got to be so difficult to wheel one of these high horsepower machines right now.
Yeah, it's going to be an education in throttle control for just about everybody here in the field, as Carlson has now pulled even with Curtis around the North Pole, and that's going to give him the inside line to beating him into the South Pole. Just like that, John Carlson has got the lead, and it looks like Curtis might get shuffled a little bit here, as you don't want to be that far out of line, especially coming with these Outlaw Figure 8s in behind you.
Yeah, exactly. It'll just be turned into a freight train really quick, as Doug Wilkinson is able to squeeze through into second place as well. So let's see if he's able to keep that throttle down, as they got really loose. There was the 67 of Chris Curtis, which allowed Nick Holton to go by, and now Clark as well trying to find the way through, as Ricky Dietz and Dakota Wilkinson battle side by side towards the back of the pack, and it's got to be frustrating for these faster guys like Dietz and Dakota Wilkinson in the back of the pack, because they want to move forward, but they can't go anywhere because they can't get the throttle down, and they got a lot of lap traffic, or not lap traffic, they got a lot of traffic in front of them.
Again, watch the throttle control and watch the wheel spin on the back tires on these cars as they come through the intersection and basically get done turning to the point where they can accelerate without spinning themselves out. It's right. It's easier to see off the starter's line coming on this side. As you look at it coming around the corner, they make the corner, they hit the line, and then they really accelerate coming down and through it. Even then, it's not much acceleration. I mean, they might be getting to quarter throttle, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And you see how much Doug Wilkinson was working the wheel that last time by. As he is sideways. He's all over the place. It's been amazing. He hasn't spun that thing out yet because that 55 machine is all over the place. As you see him working the wheel a ton right there when they point it right at you. You see how much he's going back and forth trying to get the throttle down as he's got the 74 from Nick Holton behind him, putting some pressure on. As that is impressive to say the least. He's able to keep it going in the right direction. As we got some intersection action right there for the John the Cowboy Carlson.
For sure, as you look on board with one of our Outlaw figure eights, Ryan Clark's car.
Yep, that is Ryan Clark, as he is right behind, I believe that's the 74 of Nick Holton, as he's just getting sprayed. As this just really goes to show how wet these conditions are. You can't really get the full feel for it from the top cameras, but right here you just really feel how wet it is.
You can feel the acceleration, or actually what is the lack thereof, the acceleration, and right in behind somebody makes the spray even worse. You know, falling one of the truck drivers down I-5 on one of these rainy days. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like with these Outlaw figure eights right in front of you, kicking up all of that spray, making it hard to see, hard to drive, but heck, they're still out there competing.
Exactly. So Ryan Clark, you're sitting on board with him. He sits in fourth place right behind Nick Holton, and that's Doug Wilkinson up there in second, as they all kind of battling for position. John Carlson in the 50 has really checked out from all three of them as we continue to go on. But I mean, like we saw in the super stock figure eights and in the mini stocks, and really the theme of the night, anything can happen. So don't go anywhere. We still got plenty of racing left to go for the Outlaw figure eights. You won't want to miss it.
You're watching live Outlaw Figure 8 action here on Home Track Heroes on the CW11. Caleb Hart, Kyler Hope, the Franks Radio Outlaw Figure 8. Down to just about 10 laps left here in wet racetrack conditions. John Carlson, your leader. Doug Wilkinson is second. As you're looking back, that is Nick Holton sitting about fourth position right now in the red, white, and blue number 74 car. There's a look at your leader hitting the south pole of the racetrack, and it has just been immaculate. It's been flawless for Carlson. Once he got around Chris Curtis for the lead, he's been unchallenged.
Exactly, yeah. And Ricky Dietz, he's been able to snake his way through all the way up to third position. So he's definitely, I mean, I think he wished he could have got around that traffic earlier, like I'd mentioned. But now, I mean, now you see him crossing over the intersection just in front of your race leader. It'd take a lot for him to be able to catch the 50 of John Carlson to try to challenge for that race win, as he does have a chance of possibly getting up to Doug Wilkinson, who sits in second.
Yeah, Carlson's just in a really nice rhythm right now. He's hitting his marks perfectly. He's accelerating to the right spot. That car seems pretty well balanced. You don't see the back end flying around on it. This is Carlson's to lose. So long as he doesn't make the big mistake, you figure that there is a big trophy waiting for him. Meanwhile, let's look back in the field. 4, 5, and 6 right there. Holton, Dakota Wilkinson, Ryan Clark all doing battle.
Yeah, all the red, white, and blue cars staying together. They travel in packs, I hear.
That's what I've heard as well. It's synchronized Outlaw figure 8 racing between color-coded cars.
So you saw Dakota Wilkinson get a little bit sideways there as he's getting the throttle down, maybe trying to get a little bit of a run on Nick Holton, who is driving the 74 Curtis car right there, as they've caught Jamie Corbett, who's a lap car. As that might be a pick that we saw. I mean, we saw a pick in the super stock figure eights, able to shove around positions. Maybe that's all Dakota can try to work on Holton in front of him. Also, the intersection might play a factor as well. As was that Ricky Dietz who had to slow up in front of this group as well?
Might have been. As yeah, looks like everybody coming up on Corbett here, and they're actually running down Dietz as well. As Corbett having a hard time navigating the rain, but getting her figured out. Oh, big washout there from Holton. Here comes Wilkinson to the inside on the south pole.
Yeah, that's funny. You saw Holton almost lock it up and overshoot the corner, and I think Wilkinson was so focused on his back bumper that he just followed him through and also overshot the corner, and then that allowed Ryan Clark to now get to his inside, as Dakota is going to become the big loser as he gets way on that wet stuff and it's really going to slip up and lose a spot there. But I think it was just kind of a result of, hey, I'm looking at the guys in front of me, I'm following his back bumper, and then he missed the corner, so I missed the corner, and that allowed Clark to become the winner and gain a spot there.
Yeah, compounded a mistake with a mistake, unfortunately, as we're down to 3 to go, and Clark actually looks like he's got some car speed here. Let's see if he can put the wheels to Holton here the final couple of lapses. There's your leader coming to the 2 to go marker, John Carlson. It is just easy like Sunday morning for him out there.
Yep, as he passes in front of the third place car, and so he's got half a track on Ricky Dietz, who sits in third, and then just about almost
corner set, yeah,
exactly, on the 55 of Doug Wilkinson. And we saw how ill handling Doug Wilkinson's car was, so it's been impressive for him to hang on for these now 28, 29 laps to hang on to that second spot, because he's been all over the place.
Yeah, a lot of seat time for Doug tonight, but at least it looks like he's going to get a good result coming up here sooner rather than later, as we are coming to the checkered flag this time around, and John Carlson kind of letting the throttle hang out a little bit, get a little more speed on the final lap, as he is going to take the checkered flag coming off of the North Pole. Well done, John.
Yeah, so your winner, John the Cowboy Carlson. And then you'll see here eventually, there goes Chris Curtis by. But here comes your second place. That is Doug Wilkinson, and he's going to go sideways. And here comes Ricky Dietz, going to drift all the way around the North Pole in Ricky Dietz fashion. Do you expect anything less from the 676?
I would expect nothing less from the 676. So, Outlaw figure 8's all finished up, and Big Jacket is going on, hat's going on, and we're going out into the rain once again to the Angel of the Winds Casino podium to talk to your top 3. See if the Cowboy climbs the fence once at all, as John Carlson gets the feature win.
I don't know how you're out here in a t-shirt. It's like 30 degrees, man.
I got to cool down a little bit. I'm a little warm.
You worked. You really had to work to get that one.
Yeah, that's the first time I've had the car in the rain since I've had it. And the way this car's set up, rear percentage, this thing's got a massive amount of rear percent. So I've been running, getting all the fuel out, and it's gotten better and better and better. And what can I say? After not making opening night, what a way to come back and pull off a win tonight.
So I asked Doug how much he swung at the race car over the course of the night. How much did you change? Anything? Much at all?
Yeah, I actually did quite a few changes and redid a few things and went this way and that way. And there's still some things I could probably do, might make it a little bit better. But it was like, well, let's just run it tonight and see what we get.
Without giving away your speed secret, what was the biggest thing you think that you touched on that helped you get to victory lane?
7 championships and 28 years of racing and being in the rain all the time.
I like it. Experience matters, man. Sponsors, crew, who helped you out?
I got my buddy Tony Hill. We work out of his garage. My son Bryant right there helping me out some today. A few other guys around. They didn't come out today, which I can't blame them with weather. But and then my little fireplace guy that I do fireplaces with. And that's about it. Just a small little program.
Congratulations on the W.
Thanks.
Well, we kind of robbed you out of a podium in the trucks, unfortunately. That'll happen every once in a while, but you rebound. Nice run there in the Outlaw figure 8s. Tell me about it.
It's very slick out there, and it's very difficult to manipulate the car.
Tell me a little bit about what you went through trying to get that thing turned.
Everything but spun out.
About every lap, too, right?
Yes.
How big of a swing did you have to take at the race car from the time that you knew that it was going to start to rain to where you ended up?
I never touched it.
That's good. That means it was all driver, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
Congratulations on your second. Sponsors, crew guys, who helped you?
Yeah, we'd like to thank Pacific Northwest Forerunner Connection, Tony V's, and Pilchuck Heating and Air Conditioning, Two Girls, One Leaf, and Elevate for helping out with all the promos this year.
A trophy and at least a chance to go get dry and get something warm in you. Ricky Dietz, what a wild night, and you had to pedal for that finish. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was. That's probably one of the slickest tracks I've ever been on. It's actually the first time I ever raced this car in the rain, and I think I might have to go back to the drawing board a little bit for rain racing because we've been blessed with no rain for like 3 years, and I'm just happy to finish and get to go home. And I know it wasn't a very big crowd tonight, but we still like to try to put a good show on for them.
Cars in one piece. That's like writing a big $1,000 check to yourself, right?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It is. I got to thank the shop of Arlington Tire Pros. Bobby Black, Paul Peterson, my new girlfriend Kate, for having faith in me and keeping me out here. Because sometimes it gets tough, but and most of all, God for the health and for our freedom.
Those Outlaw Figure 8 guys have a lot of character to them, and it was a character-building night out on the raceway with all of that weather, but we're not done because the legends are coming out, and those guys had 8 cylinders and big long wheelbases and big wide tires. These guys do not. Yeah. We're going to slim things up, make them shorter, short little wheelbases, itty-bitty tires, a tough car to handle when it's dry, and now we're going to make it Niagara Falls out on the raceway.
Yeah, if you look on your camera lens right there, it's not dry conditions for them at all. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these legends handle it because, I mean, these are extremely hard vehicles to drive in dry weather conditions. And we're throwing them on the wet weather, and it's going to be exciting, and I love this division anyway, so I'm excited to see how these guys can handle it. And we got some veterans in the field too that have a lot of experience.
Yeah, we've got an interesting group of cars out here, and in the front row itself is all kinds of intrigue. Is you have got the veteran John Zaretsky sitting on the pole in the Aaron Flett-owned Kent Collision Center number 98. Next to him, the second-year driver Kyle Lang in the J2 Racing Parts number 33.
Yep, and then we move on to the next row. That's a 3M of Keith Taylor, and his outside another rookie, the 18 of Gene Watson, sponsored by Premier Painting.
Roll number 3, it's the 10 of Chris Thompson. Thompson, one of the 2 LB Motorsports cars in the field. Next to him, it's the 2 of Jeff Mueller.
And in the next row, we got the 30 of Mike Holden, one of the other LB Motorsports machines, and his outside, the 77 of Cole Slater, sponsored by Lordco Auto Parts.
Row number 5, Robert Zimmerman out there, Tire Pros of Arlington, sponsoring car number 22. A rookie in the 30B, Braden Wager, starts in 10th. Dirt Cheap Sewers, his sponsor.
And 11th, that is the 11C of Chad Sinner, sponsored by Mazda of Everett, your 3-time reigning champion, and his outside, the 66 of Matt Pioli.
Pioli, his boss. That could get interesting. Yep. Final row, Mason Nelson, YN Broker, sponsor on car number 37. Brian Estrin in the 32. The LB Motorsports sponsored car is Tail and Charlie.
So we got 3 LB Motorsports making up of the 14 legend cars out there. That is, I think, possibly the one to go from John Peterson. Is a nice slow pace from the pace car as we get ready for these legends to go, and I'm excited for this. 30 laps for these legends here, and it's going to get exciting really quick.
I was talking to Zaretsky in the pit area prior to getting right as it had started spitting outside just a little bit. He goes, it's just the rain. No big deal. I was taking it relatively easy, relatively calm for John. If you know his reputation in the pit area, he gets pretty wound up. So we'll see if he can keep everything in check as he's pacing the field through 3 with the youngster, Kyle Lang, right outside of him.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier in the mini stocks as well as the Pro 4 trucks, that outside line might be a little bit more preferred, but we'll see what the experience that John Zaretsky has on the 98 as we get green flag action for the legends as Lang spin the tires a little bit, and that's going to allow Zaretsky to take a really low line into turn number 1. Wow, we did not see that with the mini stocks or the Pro 4 trucks, but it worked for Johnny Z as he has a huge gap going down the back straightaway.
What a brilliant move by Zaretsky, and that's a line. Okay, so let's watch him the next time that he comes around here, Kyler, because he's gone to the high side of 4. That's a line that might only work on restarts. We'll follow that thought up in a second, as unfortunately we got a couple of cars around. Mueller is one of them, and I think that's Thompson's 10 is the other one.
So we got a couple of the LB Motorsports cars right there. It's the 32 of Brian Escher, and he got it woed up, and it didn't look like we didn't see any significant contact, anything that should end anyone's night early there. So we'll take a look at a few replays there. That's going to give Lang a chance again at this restart as they go down into turn number 3 for the first time. Looks like it's Thompson on the inside, just going to drift up in the corner. Couldn't quite keep it down and got into Mueller and spun him around as everyone did a great job to avoid it and get it woed up. We saw the 22 of Robert Zimmerman, rookie. He was able to get slowed up, keep the car pointing in the right direction. Let's ride on board with Mueller and see what he saw.
Okay, in-car video from Mueller getting into the corner. Everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's not fine.
And that's quite a big bump there, actually. Yeah, we saw the car bounce around a little bit, but, I mean, like you saw, everyone got slowed down, and he was able to avoid any heavy contact with any other drivers, minus the initial contact with Chris Thompson. But we're going to give Kyle Lang another chance at this restart as we saw Zaretsky just get shot out of a cannon.
See if he can do it again. This segment on Home Track Heroes brought to you by Granite Construction, the proud sponsor of our Super Sprint Car Series, and approaching their 100th year in business. Granite Construction is an award-winning company and a great place to work. Find your dream job today at graniteconstruction.com.
as we get ready for this restart. I saw something little there was the 2 of Jeff Mueller gave a little bit of a love tap to Chris Thompson, who's right in front of him. So maybe just a little bit of a love payback on the restart right here.
Okay.
Could get interesting as we're going to go on board with Mike Holden outside of row number 3 as we see John Zaretsky again just get such a good launch out of the cannon. Kyle Lang, Gene Watson right in front of Mike Holden as Holden's going to go way outside, try to find some of that little bit drier concrete up there, that asphalt.
Holden's an experienced driver here at Evergreen Speedway. He's been in a late model. He's done some stuff. So, but you would expect him to know, okay, wet conditions, get upstairs and get there early. We saw Zaretsky cut that corner really big once again on the opening lap as you get a look at the speed shot of all the drivers kind of fanned out over the racetrack. And hard to see him because he's so far gone out of your picture. But through 1 and 2 right now, high-low, good action all over the place.
Yeah, you saw we were riding on board with Mike Holden. You see him there in the white 30. He moved down to the bottom after he was kind of following Kyle Lang. I think he's trying to find a way around him, maybe thinking he's a little bit faster. But now he's got Pioli to his outside, so he's in danger of losing a spot. Pioli, he's been working his way forward. He started way back there outside of row number 6, and he's looking for a spot inside the top 3 or inside the top 4 now with battling Holden.
Nice run by Pioli, kind of pinching Holden down in the corner, not letting him to drift the car upwards and keep his momentum up, what momentum you can build in these cars. So Pioli around Holden, and now coming up on the back of Lang, trying to pick him up for position.
Yeah, you saw Pioli get really loose right there. He really had to get out of the throttle, and that's going to allow Mueller to get to his outside. So now Mueller trying to do the same thing Pioli just did to Holden and pinch him down a little bit, not let him utilize all that track and all that runoff. As you'll see these cars really get loose. I love this shot right about here when they're coming off the corner. As they start to pick up the throttle, you'll see them skating around as you see
Just
Pioli
like
with
that.
a big save right there as he's wiggling all around trying to get that throttle down, and that lower line, you just can't do it. It's just way too wet down there.
Absolutely. So good point made, and a great visual there of what the drivers are combating coming through the corners as you're watching 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The 33 of Kyle Lang is in the 3rd spot right now, being chased by Jeff Mueller in the 2. Mike Holden in the 30. Here comes Chad Sinner finally in the white and green 11, trying to chase down his boss, Mac Pioli, in the 66. Finally getting some consecutive laps in here on this one as the drivers starting to build some rhythm as they go side by side in 1 and 2.
Yeah, some great battling here inside the top 5 and just outside of it with Chad Sinner coming into the picture as they go down the back straightaway. And oh no, there goes Chad Sinner sideways off the banking and into the tires. That was thankfully not too hard of a hit. We've seen some pretty nasty wrecks out there. That was just a case of maybe throttling up too much and overcorrection maybe. It was hard to tell.
I'm going to blame the old commentator's curses right as you start saying nice things about Chad Sinner. He spins out. Way to go, Kyler.
I'm sorry, Chad.
And so actually the place where that happened, and we'll see if we can pick it up in the replay, we talked about the back straightaway earlier in the show and the runoff area where some of the water comes from the back and downstairs. I want to say that spin started right about where the runoff is. Let's get another look here on the replay. So that runoff right about there. So yeah, he might have just ended up getting a little more standing water there or something coming across as he was trying to make a little subtle move with the steering wheel, kick some cattywampus around, and I don't want to say gently into the tires, but into them, that's for sure.
Yeah, tough break there for your 3-time reigning champion, Chad Sinner. As you see him at the tail end of the field right here, we are getting talks from race control that he entered the pits the wrong way, so he has a 1-lap penalty on him right now. So he came back into the pits the wrong direction after that incident, which is a no-no. He got into the pit safely, so tough break there for Chad as he's going to be a lap down right here as we get ready for this restart. Mike Holden up there on the outside of Zaretsky. So we'll see what the 2 veterans do up here because these guys probably have more laps than the rest of the field combined as they go back green right here.
So I talked about that line that Zaretsky takes, and I think he's only taking this line on restarts, cutting it low, and Holden's kind of coming a little bit. He didn't drift it up nearly as high. That's a nice move by Holden, keeping Zaretsky down and not letting him shoot so far out on a gap. That's a restart line that Zaretsky's running, not a racing line, something that you can do as you're still building speed up. If you try to run that line full speed, he would have ended up in the billboards off of the 5/8.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen some cars get close and carrying a lot of momentum out there in the mini stocks and the trucks, hanging out way out in that grass. But this is a great battle for the race lead right here. John Zaretsky on the inside of that 98 Aaron Flett owned machine, and Mike Holden in the white 30 on the outside. And Holden's doing a great job carrying playing that one on the outside, and the throttle control from Zaretsky as he's trying to get the hammer down on the inside. That allows Holden to clear. We just saw that 98 car wiggle his way up the track. And there's just nothing you can do when you're trying to get the throttle down.
Mike's got his brother Jeff doing the spotting, a TA2 driver on his own, telling him, hey, car low, careful, car low. But good job by both those drivers staying really clean and giving themselves a little bit of room. And now we'll watch Zaretsky try to run him back down, except for the caution lights are on.
Yeah, so lights will come back on, and that's going to flip them on this restart. So Holden will be on the inside, and John Zaretsky will be on the outside. You won't want to miss it. Matt Pioli was the reason for the caution, as we will be back for the conclusion of the Evergreen Legends main event. You are watching the final segment here on Home Track Heroes on CW11 from Evergreen Speedway. Kyler Hope and Caleb Hart up here in the booth for you guys. We still have about a little over halfway to go for the Evergreen Legends in their main event, the final main event of the night. And it's been exciting so far with a couple legends up front in the Evergreen Legends. That's Mike Holden and John Zaretsky have been battling side by side. And it's been fun to watch those two as they take very different lines based on which side that they're starting on. And now it's going to be Mike Holden on the bottom.
Yep, Holden low. Let's see what kind of counterpunch Zaretsky's got from the high groove this time. We bring him back to green with still a lot of laps remaining in this. Down low, it's Holden, and there you see Zaretsky, and Zaretsky putting the big pinch on Holden, really limiting his ability to come off and keep his foot in the throttle. Holden digging good down low. It's Zaretsky up high. Those two running tight. Look out, Kyle Lang around back straightaway.
Yeah, and it looks like it may have been Matt Pioli who went off to the screen to the left, spinning out as well. But other than that, it looks like everyone was able to get by. Kyle Lang, tough break there for him as we saw him go around on lap 2 of the opening night race, and he had to work his way back forward. And now on the wet weather conditions, just on the inside and just got a little bit loose. And keep an eye on that blue car, Pioli, just going a little bit sideways.
Yep.
Carrying a little bit of momentum going around Chris Thompson, trying to avoid the wreck.
We also saw Lang just obliterate the Uke tire in his heat race actions. They've already had to fix that race car once on the night, although maybe he tags back the field and keeps her going. It's been a rough night for the second-year driver, but hopefully things improve. Still a little bit of time to do so.
Yeah, it was a group effort. I saw Chad Center, I saw Pioli, that whole crew. They are all helping the 33 car get that rear end back together after that heat race incident like you mentioned. So it is definitely a big group effort to get that 33 car back together.
So they flip-flop now. Zaretsky inside, Holden outside. We'll see Zaretsky. He actually gets ahead of steam. Does he cut the corner big like he had been? No. He is going to push upwards and try to force Holden up the racetrack here.
And he's going to clear him.
Yeah, the chess match between these two has just been fun out front on the starts and restarts. And now Holden's going to get a chance to try to run him back down. So it's Zaretsky and Holden. And Mueller has moved it back into third with a bunch of the youngsters coming up behind him, going to try to take the final podium spot from him.
Exactly, yeah, you said a bunch of youngsters. I mean, you got rookie, and I think another rookie or second-year driver right there in Nelson in 6th. So Gene Watson, he's been doing great. He sits in 4th right now. And then that was Braden Wager, who we talked about quite a bit opening night as well, as one of the core midget kids like Kyle Lang working their way up through the ranks. So it's cool seeing this diversity. I mean, you got John Zaretsky, Mike Holden, Jeff Mueller, 3 guys that have been in and around racing forever. And then you got some of the younger guys or just the new guys to racing like Gene Watson, who was a fan of the grandstands last year, and now he's behind the wheel of a legend, and he's up there battling inside the top 5 and doing a great job at it.
Boy, he's got a neat little run there on Mueller. You talk about it. I mean, he comes into his driving career a little bit later in his life, but he's taken to it like a fish to water, appropriate on a rainy night. Taking a look on the inside is Wager, seeing if he can find room to get underneath him. There's Watson on Mueller, getting into 1, gonna follow him for the time being, ducks underneath, and Watson looking for a podium here. He's got 3rd off at turn number 2.
Yeah, took advantage of the little bit of a mistake from Mueller going into turn 1. You saw Mueller go way up all the way to that white line, and that allowed the 18 car to kind of clear him as he's going to get loose coming off the corner, and he's wheeling that car for sure. It is Watson, as that's going to allow the 2 to go back around him, and all the way around goes Mueller, and he's going to find some grass and bounce her around, and there goes Kyle Lang. He's going to park it over there in turn number 1?
Nope. He's just going to take a sharp left. It was an alternate entry into the corner. Alternate entry lines are fine. Mueller, on the other hand, is going to call her a night.
Yeah, so if we stay green through all that excitement, we'll go back up front as John Zaretsky, he has the race lead for now, but Mike Holden, he's starting to run him down in that 30 machine, so this is shaping up to be a pretty good battle. I mean, catching a driver is one thing. Finding the lane to get around him is going to be another thing, because these wet weather conditions we talked about, it's hard to find a dry enough groove to get the throttle down and be able to carry that momentum. So we'll see what kind of pressure he's able to put on. As we see Wager now, he's looking to try to crack a podium in his second run out.
Yeah, took a little run to the inside. Couldn't quite get her to hook up. In fact, the back end gets a little squirrely on him coming off of 4. That allows Watson to get away. And there goes Mason Nelson up and over. And, well, is he going to... Oh, he's just going to mow the lawn for us.
Throttle it up and keep it going. I mean, hey, it's one way to keep it going, but I mean, Mason Nelson, he's going to stay back in there, and he should stay about the 5th or 6th position with how spread out these guys are. I mean, he's able to hang on to not lose that many spots and stay on the track. So
track time, yes. Position-wise, it wasn't so bad.
So we'll keep it going. As now the yellow lights come on, we see is that Matt Pioli up there parking it up on top. So
okay.
We got a few replays to go through now, because a lot happened in that little green flag run. That was only about a 6-lap green flag run, but a lot happened. So we'll start off with the Mueller incident, I think, we'll go all the way back to see the 2 car. We see Watson. He's working that wheel a lot, which allowed Mueller to get a pretty good run around the outside and just overcooked it and found the slippery and went sliding backwards.
That looked a lot like the Absher spin for a little bit, only, a little baby race car instead. So, and then Kyle Lang's like, oh, cool. Well, maybe I don't want to take the really long way around this corner. Here we come. Ooh, from the Mueller cockpit down. This will be cool.
Yeah, so you saw Watson get loose and drift up right there, and here comes Mueller. It's almost like he hit the start-finish line and found a banana peel or something that just sent him around, and he went sideways quickly.
So you're saying that Watson threw out the Mario Kart banana peel right from it, or threw the Koopa shell at him? Is that what happened there?
Well, let's ride on board with Watson and see if that is what happened. So there we see Watson really working the wheel. Wow, he's going back and forth on that thing. A great save. And then going down the front straightaway, and just here comes Mueller. I mean,
I didn't see the red Koopa shell come out, but we can imagine it.
Exactly, yeah. So then we'll move on. This is a few laps later. We see Watson going down the front straightaway and keeping on the white car, Mason Nelson. He's going to come sliding through, and he didn't go quite as far off as Mueller did. He got it locked up a little bit quicker, and then he just, keep the car running, grab a gear, and keep it going.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, 2 cars got past him, but one of them was the lap car of center, so really he only lost 1 position in the running order. Oh, from the in-car. Look out. Well, way to stay calm. Good job.
Just throttled up, yeah. He didn't even downshift. He just stepped in 3rd gear and
nice.
off-roaded up back onto the track, and then
kid.
And then we'll go see what happened to Pioli. We didn't see what happened to him live, so we didn't know how he ended up at top turn number 3. As he goes down into the corner, and it looks like someone must have broken the front end. So yeah, that car just did not want to turn. So something going awry in the steering of the 66 car.
Yeah, you can imagine busted a tie rod or something like that. He did a good job. I mean, if he felt something let loose in the steering, to not have any more damage than what he did. So we're down into the single digits for laps left here, and I promise you, Zaretsky did not want to see that, as the side-by-side restarts have been tough on the front row in general, although he did a good job last time from the inside. As we get ready for the restart, Interstate Batteries, sponsor our segment for all your battery needs, cars, trucks, vans, or electric vehicles. Interstate Batteries, your one-stop shop for flashlights, cell phones, key fob batteries. Visit Interstate Batteries in Everett.
As the green flag is back out, as we'll see if maybe Zaretsky's going to go back down to that way bottom line that you'd mentioned. He's going to kind of paint it up, try not to give Holden the light of day up on the top. They're going to go side by side, and that is some really close quarters racing going on the back straightaway.
Holden got a little more brave that time and kept his foot in a little bit further. They are wheel to wheel through the corner, and I think Holden, with the momentum, he's gonna have it by a nose.
Gosh, that is nerve-wracking, seeing the front end wiggle so much on those cars as they're so side by side. Coming off of turn number 4, you see them fighting it so hard. And I can only imagine on the back straightaway, you see Zaretsky get loose a little bit, having to lift on the throttle, but he's gonna stay hard on this battle with Mike Holden as they continue to try to battle side by side. And it is so difficult in these rear-wheel drive cars. You see Zaretsky drift up a little bit and see what kind of run he can get now at Holden again with just 5 laps remaining. See if the 98 can maybe try to hunt him down and get a run going.
Pretty incredible trust between those 2 drivers to go as close and side by side as they were. A couple of car lengths now separate Holden and Zaretsky. Zaretsky looking to make the run. Does not close up anything significant at the corner entry. Through the middle of the turn, though, he definitely throttled her up and looks like he narrowed a little bit. We're down to 4 to go.
Yeah, he looked like he was able to carry just maybe a little bit more speed down the back straightaway and get off of turn number 4 a little bit better, as you see that gap really close as they go down in turn number 1 and 2. I mean, I think Zaretsky might have the faster car. Let's just see if he has enough laps to maybe have something to do with it.
See if he's going to throw one big move on him or how he's planning to do this. It's Zaretsky closing on Holden, looking for opportunity. Down to the bottom he'll go. A lane underneath him, nearly pulls up to the rear bumper. Holden gets away a little bit at corner exit.
And all it takes from Holden is just one little mistake, and that could open up the door for Zaretsky to get to the inside and even force a bigger mistake, as Zaretsky is all over his back bumper in 3 and 4. You see Johnny Z just trying to get something out of 30. There's a big mistake right there from John Zaretsky. He's going to go sliding off of turn number 1, and that is going to put an end to his charge with just 2 laps to go. Mike Holden now has all the breathing room he needs.
Wow, that stinks for John. What a good run for him that's going to end a little bit early, but Mike Holden made the right choice. He's out in front. He kept the car underneath him and straight the whole time. Into the white flag he goes. Holden trending to victory here.
Yeah, that's tough. You see Johnny Z up there on the 5/8 pulling her into the pits. He just came about a lap short, two laps short, and that was going to be a really great battle if he's able to keep underneath him right there.
Nothing to hang your head about on that one. I mean, tough driving conditions. He gave it all he had, but the story's going to be your winner. Congratulations, Mike Holden. Great race for him.
Yeah, and we talked about all those youngsters and newcomers to the series. Gene Watson going to come home second, Mason Nelson third, and that's Wager, who was in 4th. So he's going to end up a few spots down as he's going to park it there, just like we saw in the trucks with Riley Riddell, just 250 feet short and just not quite there. But, I mean, great run for Mike Holden, as he's going to be one happy guy inside that Legend. Gene Watson coming home second in his second race ever. And Mason Nelson, second-year kid, he's going to come home third. So quite a mix-up up on the podium.
We'll have some stories to tell down there. That'll be kind of cool. Looking forward to talking to Mason and Gene, and your winner, Mike Holden, is one more time, we'll head down to the Angel of the Winds Casino podium and talk with your winners after the Legend Day main event.
Mike, that was wild. You had one of the best battles that we have seen in a long time, back and forth with John Zaretsky out in front of the field. Talk to me about the battle and how you ended up coming out on top.
Well, we've raced late models together a couple times, so we've battled before, but never in the 4th groove in the rain, so that was kind of interesting.
Tell me a little about handling this Legend car in the rain on the ragged edge of the racetrack. That had to be wild.
White knuckle, my right leg's sore, just always just barely on the gas, and we were spinning the tires halfway down the straightaway, so ton of work out there, but it was a blast.
It seemed like whoever got the outside groove late on the restart had a distinct advantage. Did you feel that, and did you know with just a few laps to go that you would have the advantage on that restart?
The outside was definitely the place to be, which is very weird for the 3/8, so yeah, you needed the outside.
Well, a crazy night tonight, and it ends up playing out in your favor. Congratulations. You want to thank sponsors, crew, etc.?
I got to thank LB Motorsports and Chris Thompson and everyone out here who's freezing right now that supported us and cheered us on and had a couple beers in the beer garden.
Well, go get warm and enjoy a win.
Thank you.
Gene, that's got to be gratifying.
Yeah, it feels good.
Talk to me about racing in the rain. Talk to me about how this night progressed from you, from loading in the morning in the dry to being out here soaking wet at the end of the evening in the second place.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting really close to packing it up, but I'm glad we didn't. Yeah, it was a good, awesome time.
Talk to me about racing in the rain. First time for you?
Yeah, first time.
What all did you learn over the course of the night?
Just throttle control, really. I didn't really know what to expect, but I don't know, just trying to hold on, really.
You did great. Second place. Happy? Anybody you want to say thank you to?
I got to thank Travis Blivens. He helped me build that car, and I just really appreciate all the work he put in.
Mason, what an interesting race. That car was sideways, it was backwards, it was forwards. I think you literally took up every inch of the racetrack at some point in time, but that's what it took to get the car around. It was tricky out there.
Yeah, it was fun. My first time ever racing in the rain, or a lot of rain, and ups and downs the whole race, just wild.
What did you have to do mentally to adjust to the fact that this surface was variable and weird?
Patience is the key. I never went more than half throttle the whole way. Started in the back and ended third.
You ended up spinning out and jumping over into the grass for a couple of seconds, but some lucky breaks. You pulled your way back through. Are you happy with your result?
Can never be more happy with the podium finish.
There you go. Congratulations. Who all helped you out on the race car?
My mom, dad, Rick, wine and brokers mostly, and anyone on the crew, anyone who helped us this past couple of races.
Great job tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, what a great way to end up this show, because that was an exciting finish to the Legend main event. I mean, that was about as good a racing as you can get for the conditions being.
So that is why, rain or shine, you come out to Evergreen Speedway on a weekly basis, because even if the wet stuff's coming down, we got covered grandstands, and you're still going to see a lot of fun racing action, and we got all kinds of fun stuff coming up.
Exactly, yeah. So next week on Home Track Heroes, DriftCon, Big Bounty. So it's going to be something different for you guys at home. If you've been, this is your first year watching Home Track Heroes, we got some drift action, and you're not going to want to miss it. $12,500 worth of prize
cash
money?
Prizes, that's
wow.
right. 64 drivers going in the Big Bounty tournament. That's coming up on Home Track Heroes next Sunday. The next time you can come out in person, the Street Stocks are back. That's coming up on April 30th.
Exactly, yeah. Street Stocks, Hornets, Youth Hornets, and Stinger 8s. For the Buzz and Steakhouse Stinger 8s, they put on a great show every single time. Vintage Modifieds, their first time out here in 2022. I love that class. It's going to be exciting to see them. The week after that, Pro Late Models on May 7th, along with Street Stocks, Outlaw Figure 8s, Super Stock Figure 8s, Pro 4 Trucks again, and Legends. So you're not going to want to miss any of that stuff coming up. Check out evergreenspeedway.com for all the information. Thank you for tuning in here on CW11 Home Track Heroes.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.